Hello and welcome to Let's Go Racing. We're at Okayama, previously known as Aida, for the 6th round of the 2019 Super Formula Championship. I'm joined here in the studio, as ever, by Leo Gorman, who's come all the way from Ireland.
Good morning, Sam. Hello, everyone else. Very much looking forward to the penultimate round of the Super Formula Championship in 2019. Really getting to the kind of the fighting end to this championship. Not many points left, and we got a championship battle that's really hotting up, and championship contenders not necessarily near the front.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mixed up grid. We've got a very grumpy Nick Cassidy. We'll talk about that in a little while. And Alex Palou, who you just saw the end of Chio chatting to, he is, again, just about in the championship fight, but he's got a lot of work to do. So does Cassidy. The championship, well, the reigning champion, way down the back of the field. We'll get you to run through the grid in a little bit, Lee, because as you can see on your screen, there's a Lexus pace car in front, nice and yellow. And, well, it's the public grid walk. Slightly later start time here at Okayama, so it gives us a nice moment to say thank you to all of the fans who've supported us this season. That's Erwin, Robbie Francevic, Melbeanyo, Walt Moehle, Klowde, Stephen Manguino, Paul Montecinos, Issac Louis, Dave Ddogphace, Walt Moehle again, Robbie Francevic again, Melbeanyo again, Christian MILESI, Corey Jott, GPA 95, DyrmaXXX. I've been on that website. It's not for safe to consumption. Robbie G, Joe Quirk, Nolin, Dillane, Darien, Quinn, Jonathan Sheeran, AJ Rottini, MP Rallyvideos, Ddogphace, Morcane, Tom Porter. Username is in use. Gaunt 19, Bucktide, Dougal 14. It's definitely Leo Gorman. Devin Mitchell, Thomas Loisu, Derek Lundy. Wales taste great. No, they don't. GG0454. Without the support of people like you, well, we couldn't be bringing you Super Formula, so thanks for that very much. There's Masahiko Kondo. He might be singing shortly, but there's his car. And it's 29 degrees centigrade here at Okayama. Well, at Okayama. No, well, we thought it was going to rain. 40% chance of rain during the race. Doesn't look like rain's going to come, though, does it?
It doesn't at the moment, but it doesn't look exactly. It doesn't look overly bright either at the moment. Not the strongest wind force at the moment, so maybe the clouds aren't going to be coming in as quickly or as forceful as we may have thought yesterday or day before. We just saw the Kondo guys on the grid there second. Good qualifying for them. They're up second and third. We'll get to the full grid in a few moments' time, but really good opportunity for either Kenta Yamashita or Yuji Kunimoto to actually pick up some big points today. And of course, Kondo are, I think they're 6th in the championship at the moment, quite a way behind the top points in Super Formula so far this season. So I think they're looking for a good result today.
Well, Ralfan608 says he wants to support the channel, but spent all of his money on 164th cars. Wrong scale, my friend. 143rd is the way to go. 118th is just a bit too big. So, getting ready for the start, as you can see. Now, Lee, you have some news from the world of Super Formula, don't you?
We do have a little bit of news. I must admit, ever since our last round at Motegi, it's not been flush with news as such. But what we can say is Yuichi Nakayama, who's a former Super Formula driver from a few years ago, he's sitting in this weekend at Team Le Mans for Artem Markelov. Now, Markelov is racing in Sochi this weekend in the Formula 2 category with Arden, replacing the late Antoine Hubert, who's tragically lost his life at Spa a few weeks ago. Yuichi raced in 2014 with actually he's a previous Super GT champion way back when in the actually no, that's not him.
You've lost your details again, haven't
no,
you?
he's actually former Japanese F3 champion. He was racing for KCMG in Super Formula 2014. Was 18th in the championship there. As far as we know, this is a one-round only deal. So we'll have to wait and see what happens at Suzuka in a few weeks' time. Artem Markelov, of course, hasn't had the easiest of seasons so far. So it'll be interesting to see whether he comes back or whether Nakayama will stay in for the remaining part of the season. There's been a slight altercation. alteration to the 2020 Super Formula Championship calendar. It was originally meant to open at Fuji at the beginning of April with Suzuka as round 2. They've actually swapped around, so Suzuka will now be opening the championship on April 4th and 5th, with Fuji slotting in on April 18th and 19th. Rest of the calendar remains the same. Autopolis in mid-May, Sugo in mid-June, Motegi at the end of August, Okayama at the end of September, and Suzuka finishing 2020 at the end of October, start of November. And also a little bit of a change for the strategy for this weekend's race. There will be no pit stops prior to lap 10 in this race. This is kind of to prevent drivers, because the tires of the Yokohama tires have been lasting an incredibly long time. This is to stop drivers pitting on lap 1, lap 2, and then going the rest of the distance on one set of tires, and just in an attempt really to give a little bit more variety in actual race strategy. We'll see how that pans out as this goes on. As we don't know, we it's only still a 40% chance of rain. This race could still be changed by outside conditions, but at the moment, as we mentioned earlier on, looking quite dry. And you mentioned too a little bit of a grumpy Nick Cassidy
Yes.
on the grid this weekend.
Very grumpy Nick Cassidy.
Very, very grumpy Nick Cassidy. And we'll get to that now as we go to the grid.
I think we should.
I think we should definitely go to the grid. And it has actually been a bit of a nightmare weekend so far for Team Le Mans. Before getting to Group 1, qualifying 1 was actually split into 2 groups, with even number cars in one group and the odd number cars in another group. So the actual timings in qualifying looks slightly odd when you look at it as a pure grid. But 20th and last on the grid is Team Le Mans' Kazuya Oshima. He got a 1 minute 16.179. And alongside him is his new teammate for this weekend, at least that we know of, is Yuichi Nakayama. He's got a 1 minute 15.147. That Group B section, which is the odd numbered side of the grid, shall we say, it was actually much, much, much faster than the first round that went out. So yeah, there is a significant difference in the times. 18th on the grid, reigning Japanese, up until soon, reigning Japanese F3 champion Sho Suboi in the Tsurumo Ing Toyota. He starts from 18th on the grid. Alongside him on row 8, Kudai Sukakoshi with Rail Racing Honda. He got himself a 1 minute 15.118. 16th on the grid, reigning Super Formula champion and currently second in the championship, 1 point behind Nick Cassidy. It is Naoki Yamamoto in the Checo Lopez at Okayama this weekend.
Interesting.
Very interesting indeed. So it says 16th on the grid, Naoki Yamamoto with the Dandelion Honda. Didn't make it out of Q1. Not the first time that's happened this year. He actually qualified 18th at Autopolis and finished second in that race. So it's not inconceivable he could still pull a good result out of this. 15th on the grid on row 8, it's Lucas Sauer in the B-Max with Motor Park Honda. He got a 1 minute 14.919. And then it's 14th on the grid, row 7, Yuki Sakaguchi. He got himself a 1 minute 15.767 that leaves him further down the grid. That's in the Team Impul Toyota. Alongside him, 13th on the grid, Tomoki Nohiri. He got a 1 minute 14.886 in the Team Mugen Honda. They're the guys who were knocked out in Q1, as we see Cassidy on the grid there. And we'll get to him in just a moment. He actually did quite well, actually, in warm-up. He was second in warm-ups, but he'll be looking to make a move from there. Q2, drivers knocked out of Q2. We start with Harrison Nui, 12th on the grid. In the B-Max Racing Motor Park Honda, it was a 1 minute 13.557. Then 11th on the grid. Very good effort from a young driver in only his third round, the Super Formula, Pato O'Ward in the Team Mugen Honda. He got himself a 1 minute 13.519. And that's actually his first appearance in Q2. As we mentioned a moment ago, a grumpy Nick Cassidy, 10th on the grid. He was actually fastest in Q1 and was on his fastest lap in Q2 when he was blocked by his teammate, Kazuki Nakajima, and that left him lingering in Q2 on the 5th row of the grid.
Sent an angry tweet out afterwards, which has since been deleted.
9th on the grid, and inside the top 10, we have Kamui Kobayashi, the Team KCMG Toyota driver. He got a 1 minute 13.325. Then we get into Q3, and it's a top 8. It's Alex Pelou, a guy who was chatting to Chio on the grid just as we came on there in the TCS Nakajima Honda. He's still gunning for the possibility of maybe a championship chance as we get into these final 2 rounds. He's third in the championship, only 8 behind Cassidy. We'll get to the standings in a few moments' time. It's Pelou with a 1 minute 13.382.
Just have to look. We'll pause you there. Let's have a look around the Okayama circuit on board with Ryo Hirakawa, and we'll just stay quiet and listen to the engine because it sounds good. And that's how you get around Okayama circuit in a lap time that would qualify you about 12th position for the 1994 Pacific Grand Prix, just ahead of some Tyrrells and of Martin Brundle sort of people. Lee, back to you with the starting grid.
I'm not quite breaking Ayrton Senna's lap record.
No.
7th on the grid is Tadasuke Makino in the Nakajima Racing Toyota. They're having a very good run of late. That's a very, very good effort for Makino with a 1 minute 13.004. 6th on the grid, twice Super Formula champion Hiroki Ishura in the Tsuruma Ing Ing Toyota, a long way ahead of his teammate Sho Tsuboi. That's a 1 minute 12.969. Then we're getting to the top 5. The driver who was initially quickest in Q3 on his first run, Narei Fukuzumi, his first time here at Okayama, set himself a 1 minute 12.890. Now we're getting to top 4. Kazuki Nakajima. It was unclear whether he would actually get a penalty for blocking Nick Cassidy in their runs in Q2. Didn't happen. He is 4th on the grid with a 1 minute 12.884. In the Team Tom's Toyota. 3rd on the grid, Yuji Kunimoto, a 1 minute 12.880 for the Kondo Racing Toyota. As you mentioned earlier on, Kondo having a very, very good weekend. And the other Kondo Racing car, Kenta Yamashita, 2nd on the grid, 1 minute 12.780, and pole position. It's his 2nd pole position in Super Formula. He qualified on pole at the Topless last year. It's Ryo Hirakawa. He won last time out in Motegi. He set himself a 1 minute 12.700 to take pole position, and the additional point that comes with pole position, which actually leaves him joint 7th in the standings at the moment. And speaking of the standings, it is very, very, very tight at the top. In the Drivers' Championship, Nick Cassidy on 28 points. He heads Yamamoto by a single point. It's 27 for Yamamoto, but Yamamoto has not scored in a few rounds. Actually, he hasn't scored since the 3rd round. He didn't get anything for either Motegi or Fuji. Alex Pelou is 3rd in the championship. He's got 20 points. He's 8 behind Cassidy. And then I think Kobayashi 4th in the standings with 19 points, 9 behind Cassidy. Very much, I think, the last realistic championship challenger out there. But oddly enough, Kobayashi has still not won a Super Formula race.
He's got a good chance today. He's still just about in championship contention, as we heard. A little way off the pace, but, you know, there's a lot of guys out of position here at Okayama, and I think we're going to see a bit of a mixed-up race. And with that new rule on pit stops, I think you're going to see everybody dive in. But here's the national anthem. Well, there's the national anthem as ever. So, Andrew Leung, thanks for the joining us. However, Lee, we've had a question from RobotRocks11_F1. Who's going to win then?
Well, we did this in our pink cards last night, Sam, and I think I said Kenta Yamashita for the win, and I think, went for Yuji Kunamoto to finish second and Kazuki Nakajima to finish third.
I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go it's going to be Kenta Yamashita. But, as I was saying just before the national anthem and the smiley girl with the 1 minute board, sorry, it's the 1 minute board, I think it's going to be an interesting one because you have this new rule on pit strategy. So all the guys running on the soft compound tyre, so two compounds of Yokohama tyre used in Super Formula, and each car is obliged to use both tyres. Well, the runs with the red sidewall, which I think most of the grid are starting on, basically, it's interesting actually because I think they're. Sorry, I got that wrong. So you see the medium tyre there with the black sidewall, but there are some cars starting on the soft tyre. Now, that's not what we expected, is it?
No, not quite. But I think it may make sense if they're the drivers who I think will probably be straight in on lap 10.
That's right. So because you're not allowed to stop before lap 10 now. It's a rule change for this race only, but maybe they'll introduce it at Suzuka, but maybe not.
What we'll go through is we'll just very, very quickly, I think, the drivers who are starting on the soft tyres, and so you're going to be looking at Oshima, Nakayama at the back of the grid, and also Sho Tsuboi, Kudai Sugakoshe, Yamamoto starting on the soft tyre, also Lucas Auer, and Tomoki Nohiri. They're all the guys, 7 of the bottom 8 starting on the soft tyre. Then you got Nick Cassidy also starting on the soft tyre. And then there's a whole bunch of medium runners in the middle of the pack. And then you go to, of the top 6, 4 of the top 6 are starting on soft tyres. So that's 6th place. Ishura, he's starting on the soft tyre, as is Fukuzumi from 5th. 3rd on the grid, Kunimoto starting on the soft, and Poleman Hirakawa starting on the soft. That leaves Yamashita from 2nd on the grid and Nakajima on 4th starting on the mediums. Then it is Makino from 7th and Pelu from 8th. And Kobayashi from 9th, all starting on the mediums. Also Pato O'Ward and Harrison Nui from 11th and 12th starting on the mediums. 14th on the grid, Yuki Sakaguchi, he is the last driver starting on the mediums.
68 laps, just over 250 kilometers around this track, located in the south of Japan.
Just as a note as I mentioned, we're coming towards the end of this championship. The title battle is getting very, very, very close. There is 10 points up for grabs for the win today here, and at Suzuka in a few weeks' time, there is 14 points up for grab. Of course, 1 for pole and 13 for the win. So this race could prove crucial, really, for Alex Palou and Kamui Kobayashi should they wish to keep their championship challenge going.
Just looking at the, you can really see the mix of, you can see on the screen now the different tyres, which has gone away now, but you could see the real mix of strategy. So you can see all those medium runners dive into the pits about lap 10. Now, also keep an eye on the roll hoops as the race goes on. Those green lights, that's the overtaking system. Starts off in green, everybody's got about 30 seconds of extra fuel flow on these 2-litre turbocharged Toyota or Honda engines, depending on which team you're in.
And a very slow lining up on the grid.
They are very slow to the grid.
There was a huge gap, I think, there from the top 6 runners to those just slightly behind them. And yeah, it was really, really stretched out as they came out of that final corner. So you look at Poleman Hirakawa, winner last time out in Motegi. We're about to finally get going. This is a long, long, long wait if you're the guys.
Yeah, they're going to be getting hot, which that usually means, they have moments, but let's see. Mr. Green Flag's about to wave his flag. He's not convinced. There he is. That was a very long hold on the grid, wasn't it?
Very dramatic. Hirakawa on the right of your screen. Yamashita to the left.
We're racing here at Okayama. Fairly orderly getaway, but 3 wide for 3rd position. Then they gets it done into turn 1. Change position for 3rd and off the track. I think that's Sekiguchi going wide there.
Very good start for Hirakawa, right into the lead. No real challenge from Kenta Yamashita as we see some dust kicked up as on the back end of the grid.
Little puff of blue smoke there under deceleration from a couple of the cars, and that's very close. Nick Cassidy and Alex Palou wheel to wheel there into that long right-hander.
I think that was Harrison Newey looking to make up some positions as well. Not quite there.
That blue smoke is, I don't know if it's an overfill of oil in that in the back of Hirakawa's car, but there's a lot of blue smoke. But there's a great battle there for second position round the outside there. Kunimoto got that done. Absolutely fantastic. And off and back on again, and that's getting almost wheel to wheel there with Pato Ward.
No, that's actually Kunimoto.
I told you, yeah, Kunimoto, that's his second off. I wonder if he's got tyre trouble. He's losing another position. Nakajima up to fourth.
I think that's Fukuzumi who's actually up to second
It
place.
is Fukuzumi, my mistake. Yeah, I got the teammates muddled. It is Fukuzumi, so great start for the Honda driver.
And interestingly enough, that off from Kunimoto, one of the drivers who started on the mediums.
Yeah,
you can see the drivers are weaving, and there's a lot.
Kamui Kobayashi is in the pits, so that's his first lap trouble for Kamui Kobayashi. And there's a lot of tyre trouble, and that is, well, huge amount of. There is Kamui Kobayashi coming down pit lane. I saw him dive off onto pit roads. Now this looks routine, but this is too early for the regulation, so I wonder. Well, that's interesting, isn't it?
It's very, very interesting move.
And that's Harrison Newey on the move there. Working his way up through the fields.
So Hirakawa leads Fukuzumi second place. Kenta Yamashita running third. Suzuki Nakajima still fourth. Ishura fifth. Cassidy, brilliant start, up to sixth place.
And that's Harrison Newey and Shosuboi battling. He's Shosuboi in the colourful Inging Project New car. Harrison Newey trying to get it done. He did get it done briefly, but look at Shosuboi now working off one, getting onto the back of the TCS Nakajima cars there straight away.
And brilliant start from Shosuboi there, who was actually towards the rear of the grid. He started 18th, already running in 14th place, but losing that spot to Harrison Newey.
Lucas Auer have fantastic first lap.
Oh, was that Cassidy taking Nakajima?
I think it is, yeah. Well, it's Cassidy and Nakajima together, yeah.
Yeah, but it was around the outside, so either Nakajima made a mistake that I just missed.
Yeah, he did it. He got it done.
That was a very, very kindly overtake, I must say. So, and Nakajima's dropped down to 6, so he must have had an off or a little mistake somewhere.
Well, that's been a really lively opening session of the race. That's Cassidy's made 5 positions in the first 3 laps. I'd love to see the onboard.
The biggest winner there in the first couple of laps is actually Lucas Auer, who started 15th, already 7th place.
Yeah, and well, soon to be 6th. Nakajima really struggling for pace in that Vantolin Team Tom's car. Not sure what that's about. He was quick.
Nakajima's on the mediums. Nakajima's on the mediums.
Right, and that is making a huge difference, isn't it?
I think the drivers on the mediums are really, really having a hard time of it.
The flashing lights denote the overtaking system. That's Lucas Auer working his way up. Pato Ward has fallen down the field, down to 19th, lost 8 positions on the first lap.
He's on the mediums as well, Sam.
Yeah, that's not working out for these guys.
Well,
of course, all of these cars have got, all the guys on soft will have to take on that medium tyre at some point, and they can't just do it on the last lap. That's been banned now.
I think these guys that are starting on the mediums are taking the pain, really, of just being slow earlier on for maybe a longer run on softs after lap 10. But I think we may see a lot of these mediums, if not all, medium tyre shot drivers all pulling in.
Now keep an eye on the guy in third position at the top of your screen. That's Kenta Yamashita, and he's in third, being harassed by Ishiura and Nick Cassidy. And of course, as you say, Lee, he is the front-running medium tyre runner, and the medium tyres are losing so much time off the grid.
Yamashita was 1.5 seconds slower than the leading 2 drivers, Hirakawa and Fukuzumi there. It's created a gap of 5 seconds between second and third already. Now this may come to Kenta Yamashita later on, but also need to take into account this is really giving Hirakawa and Fukuzumi a huge advantage at this stage in the race, as they're pulling out a massive gap. Sheeran looking to get by, can't quite do it yet. Cassidy in but just behind, but Sheeran trying to go around the outside. Will he make it?
That's going to open the door for Cassidy, isn't it?
He may make it. He's done it. Fantastic. Wow. Absolutely wonderful move by Sheeran to go around the outside, then duck it down the inside of the tight hairpin. Very, very good move, and Cassidy's going to have Kenta Yamashita very soon as well, if not immediately.
Yeah, it looks like Cassidy's just gone for a text.
Yamashita's really struggling. There's absolutely no pace whatsoever. Well, if you're liking this, I think like, subscribe, and join and support this channel because this is the kind of racing we've had all year.
And we're going to be bringing it to you all of next year as well. So the full 2020 season here on Let's Go Racing. So that's not enough to subscribe. Well, there'll be more. We're going to have more announcements. There's announcements and things coming. Don't know what we're announcing, but we're announcing stuff. But this is Lucas Au now, the next driver to, well, frankly, mug Kenta Yamashita, who is losing so much pace. You can see the flashing roll hoop light flashing slowly. It means he can't rely on the overtaking system. He hasn't got that extra fuel flow to allow him to pass. These engines fuel flow limited, like those in WEC and in Formula 1. 2-litre turbocharged engines, similar to those used in Super GT. The Honda is exactly the same. The Toyota is based on it.
I suppose to put this into context, you've got the likes of Kenta Yamashita, who's now passed by Lucas Auer.
Just drove straight past him.
And the medium shot drivers are all in the 1 minute 18s, mid 1 minute 18s. The soft tire drivers, they're all in the 1 minute 16s. There's a 1.5 to 2 second gap. And James Guthrie asked what lap would be the best lap to make a stop and make the one-stop strategy work.
We'll get rid of the mediums as quick as possible, I'd say, looking at this.
I think coming into this weekend with the pace of the medium tyres, we probably would have said anyone on the medium tyres just come in straight away, come on lap 1 and go straight on to the softs. Now, we've heard that the softs are actually getting very, very good life. So you could probably run long on the soft. I don't think we're necessarily going to see a two-stop strategy this weekend because I think the softs will actually do enough laps.
Well, Kamui Kobayashi, perhaps. He may have got a puncture on the opening lap, but...
I think that would be unforced, really.
And trying to get a run done there on Nakajima. That was Naoki Yamamoto, the champion, well, the reigning champion. Here we go. So in the white Docomo Dandelion racing car, that's Naoki Yamamoto. Will he be a Toro Rosso driver at the Japanese Grand Prix? All my sources say yes, he will be.
That would, if that is going to happen, that would be an announcement that'll happen very, very soon because Suzuka is 2 weeks.
Exactly, and I'm interested to see whether he'll be he probably won't be a Toro Rosso driver next year because nobody will be, because they've changed their name to Alpha Toro, or they're trying to change their name to Alpha Toro. I'm just waiting for the first commentator to call it the Alpha Centauri team.
Anyway.
Alpha Toro, Red Bull's clothing brand, in case you didn't know that Red Bull had a clothing brand, because I didn't.
Up until last night, I didn't know Red Bull had a clothing brand. Speaking of Kamui Kobayashi, Kamui changed onto the soft tyres when he stopped on lap 1. He is by far the fastest driver on track at the moment. He's actually in the 1 minute 15s.
Yeah, but he's broken the regulations.
Well, he's going to have to pit again.
Well, he's going to get a penalty, surely. You're not allowed to stop in the first 10, so he has to at least stop again. So
I don't think he'll get a penalty. I think it'll be more a case of it won't count as a mandatory stop. He will have to stop again.
It's interesting.
But I think he's going to go. He did the first lap on medium, so I think it's going to be soft.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to be able to do that. And if that's allowed in the regulations, he's played a strategic blinder because he's got the open track to himself and he's just pumping. He's out on his own personal track day, pumping in the lap times. And he's going to have good tyres all the way through. So will he be able to make up that difference back to the back of Pato Ward, who's really fallen down the field, unfortunately? Not quite sure what happened to him on the first lap, but he lost 8 positions.
Pato Ward he's running in the late 1 minute 18s. He just set a 1 minute 18.7 last time around, and that's actually his best lap of the race so far.
Yeah, it's something not quite right there. He's on the medium tyre, of course.
This could also be, we must take into account, this is only Ward's 3rd race weekend in Super Formula. I don't think he's actually done any testing as yet, so he is still learning very much these tyres, the concept of the car on these tyres.
I mean, he was quick in qualifying.
He was 11th in qualifying. He was actually P3 in warm-up earlier on today as well, as we look at a replay of the start.
Now, see if we can see what happens to Pato Ward, because he drops a huge amount of time very quickly.
Stalled. Looks like he stalled.
There you go.
Well, he was very, I think the second part of his getaway was incredibly slow. What was interesting there about that start, I just noticed, look how slow Yamashita is off the line. And I wonder if that's a consequence of the tyres as well, because they were sitting on the front of the grid for a very, very, very long time. And if it's already harder tyres have just kind of cooled significantly to the point where it actually... we got an off. It's Fukuzumi. It's Fukuzumi from second place. It's off.
It is the Docomo Dandelion car, and that could well be a safety car.
And it's beach. He's not getting out of that. Fukuzumi was running second place after a wonderful overtake on Kenta Yamashita earlier on, but he's gone off here. Oh, now is the engine
That's
actually locked? Has that locked the rear wheel, Sam?
I wonder, because we were talking about the blue smoke out of the back of that.
I think he's had either an engine or a gearbox failure, and it's locked his rear wheels and actually spun him off on his own oil.
That didn't look like a straight brake failure to me.
No.
That's a slightly odd one. And there is the safety car on 8th lap. So you're going to see everybody on medium tyres come diving to the pit lanes. That means it hasn't really worked out for Kamui Kobayashi, but it has worked out for all of these poor guys like Pato Ward. You can just see there at the top of the screen, who are out on mediums.
They can't change. The thing is, they can't change. They still have to wait a couple of laps. It's really going to hurt some of those drivers potentially on soft tyres.
Yes.
Who are not going to want to change to mediums yet. They're going to want as little time on the mediums as humanly possible. So they're actually probably going to stay out.
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to make a strategic problem for those who are planning to stop on lap 10. The medium tyre runners will now get this free pit stop, and those on the softs won't. So this has played into the hands, into the likes of Patricio Ward down in 19th, who can now get the new tyres on.
And Yamashita, who's 6th, and there's no Fukuzumi.
Yes, it's bad news. There's the snatch tank. It's bad news for Nick Cassidy up to 3rd position, but on the soft tyre, still owes a pit stop. Has to run the medium. Now's too early to switch to the medium. But obviously Naoki Yamamoto, he's also on the soft. So the car to look for is, as you say, Kenta Yamashita sitting in 6th position. Can make that stop. He'll lose track position, but then he'll get the faster tyre for more of the race.
And won't need to stop later on as well.
Well.
So, you know, this Okayama, of course, a very, very, very slow safety car, Sam.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very slow.
That's incredibly slow safety car. I wonder if the safety car driver's been told to go really slowly.
In the area where... This is the area where Fukushima went off. Actually, I think...
Yes, it is. No, it's not.
No,
I don't. I wonder if been told to go very slowly because of this pit stop regulation. But he needs to get a little bit of a clip on because, they're going to lose a lot of tyre temperatures, and those on the mediums. Well, there's a grumpy driver. Yurei Fukuzumi. Not happy. Very much not happy. I don't think that was his fault.
No, that looked very much like a failure.
The rear end locked up a long way before the corner, and he didn't lift. If it was a straight braking error, he would have lifted off the brakes and at least had some attempt. But it just went straight on with the wheels locked, which is quite unusual.
Fukuzumi is his first retirement of the year. He's currently 6th in the standings with 12 points.
Well, not anymore.
It's a very solid debut season for Fukuzumi, actually. He's the former F2 and GP3 driver back in the day.
And here you go. Now you're seeing the pit stops. Have a look at the Team Mugen rear jack. It's got an automated jack system, which the mechanic throws at the rear end vaguely in the direction of the rear of the car, and it automatically jacks up the car. It's very, very...
The safety car is way too slow.
The safety car is extremely slow, and this is very much going to play into the hands of those who are going to stop at the end of, I guess, this lap. And you might see the old Tony Stewart get up alongside the safety car and hurry him up. You can't really bump draft in a car.
The other issue with me is they can't go much slower because the safety system kicks in.
Yeah,
and it will effectively acts as a kill switch for the car. So I don't understand. He probably thinks he's pedaling it.
No, he doesn't. I mean, he's nowhere near. If you look at the safety car, he's not using the full width of the track, so he's really not pushing. So this is an extremely slow safety car. And as you can see, look, the safety car driver is just meandering around in the middle of the road. He's not making any attempt to go on the racing line or to get quickly around the corner. He's just driving slowly. There is the recovering car, the Honda engine Ddogphace Team Dandelion car.
I can understand if they were going slow into this section and through this section, but not over the rest of the circuit.
I mean,
it's too slow.
You can see the car's position. He's just sitting in the middle of the track. He's not pushing. Now, if you see the safety car, say in Formula One or any other series, you can see the safety car really being hurled around because they are just road cars. And here, not so much. It's out for a sort of countryside drive.
So, yeah.
They're going to have no tyre temperature, so I think you're going to see an awful lot of people heading for the pits on medium tyres at the end of this lap.
I don't know, I'm curious. I just can't imagine anyone's changing from softs to mediums yet.
No, I don't think it was going to say soft, but
Medium to softs, yes.
I mean, keep an eye. The car to watch is car 6, Kenta Yamashita running. Sorry, car 3, Kenta Yamashita running in 6th position, and I expect to come diving to pit road at the end of this lap. He will be kept company by Nakajima, Makino, Alex Palou, Harrison Nui, Sekiguchi, and Pat O'Ward, and then the entire field will be on the soft tyre. And then you'll have this strategic imbalance. Safety car will restart with all of the cars on the same tyre in a pack, and yeah, game on for those who have made the stop. Now, there's the pit entry.
The pit entry is just before the corner, so...
And it's, as predicted, in 6th position.
Yamashita.
It is, yeah. And I'm just going to keep an eye on the pit entry to see who else makes it to it. And yeah, as we expected...
Yamamoto.
Yeah, they're all in.
Nakajima.
You can see it in front of you now. They're all coming diving.
Makino. Yeah. Some of the soft tire...
Nakajima didn't stop, nor did Makino. Oh, no, that's because they're jumping the positions. Sorry, I'm...
Nui in as well. And some of the soft tire drivers are in the pits as well, Sam.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's rolling the dice a little bit to go onto the medium at this point. We've seen how slow it is. Oh, it doesn't look like the TV director's picked up on this magic jack at the rear end of some of the teams are using.
Yamashita's a slow stop.
Yeah, it was.
That's a very, very slow stop. Yamamoto's out ahead. Nakajima just behind there. So that's a very slow stop for Yamashita.
Now, Pato Ward is in at the top of your screen, but I wanted to see that pit stop because that's the one with the super magic jack at the rear.
I think, yeah.
Oh, that was a big lock up into turn 1 and off.
Oh, there's
on the coals. There's a puncture on brand new tyres.
Left front actually has a puncture as he's leaving the pits. That is absolutely... I've never seen that before.
Did the mechanic, while jumping over the nose, ding the front wing, and that's cut the front wheel coming out?
I've never seen that before.
That's baffling. I hope they remember to put air in it. Well, we need to see that again.
That is
it doesn't matter. They haven't lost any time. The safety car's still out on a... He's not losing any time, look, because he's got a puncture on the left front.
He's going to have to come back in,
He's definitely going to have to come back in, but he's still quicker than the safety car. I don't know. What's Taki Inui doing this weekend? No, he's scared of safety cars, isn't he?
I'm not sure Taki Inui is the biggest fan of safety cars.
Look at this. You can see the tyre is completely flat on the left front. I'm just wondering if that front wing is a little bit kinked. And that's what's caused it. Do you think he knows? Because he's chucking it about, but I'm not sure he knows the tyre's flat.
Well, I'm assuming they would have got on the radio to him by now at least to tell him the situation. Well, surely he would know anyway. Just, you'd like to know by experience.
But I mean, the way he's moving the car around, it's like he's trying to feel what's wrong with it, and he hasn't. The team aren't on the radio and telling him.
I can understand from the driver's point of view, to come out of the pit lane with a puncture is the kind of thing that might boggle you somewhat.
It does confuse you. And who's that diving on?
That is not Kunimoto, is it? Yeah, it's just Kunimoto.
Well, all right then. Explain that.
Wait. His car looks slightly lopsided.
Yamamoto's in. Yamamoto's in again.
It may actually be... no,
it was
Yamashita last time.
Yamamoto is in. That's Yamamoto.
No, but that's his first stop, though.
No, it's his second. Yamamoto is on pit road for a second stop. You're right, that is his teammate, but you'll see the other one. The car 1 is in the pits. And for the second time, I know what they've done.
Oh.
They've taken the medium tyre off, put the soft back on.
Very
smart.
Clever,
yes.
Very sly.
They've complied with the regulations, and that's played into the hands of, Puncture Boy.
Well done.
Smart. So they have, because of the extremely slow safety car, they've basically wiped out the medium tyre completely from this race, with just one driver left on it, which is Kunimoto.
And Kunimoto actually pitted there
and we just saw him, and he's still showing his medium tyre. Surely not.
But what this is really kind of gone up against is the top six. The top 6. None of the top 6 have stopped, Sam. I think they've missed a trick on this.
I think they have as well. Yeah, they really have. Now I wonder if they've realised this, and they're all going to come diving to pit lane now. The lights are off on the safety car though, so it's too late.
It's too late.
Oh, they have just been out-fought.
So the top 6 who've not stopped is Hirakawa leading, Ishura second place, Cassidy in third, and fourth Lucas Hour.
Oh, they've got to be desperate for a safety car now, this lot at the front. It's all gone wrong. Look, there you can see it on your screen. All the cars in the field, bar the top 6, have been to the pits, and the cars from 14th down, led by Naoki Yamamoto, have made their mandatory stop, taken the medium, and whacked the soft back on again.
Does Kobayashi still need? Yes, Kobayashi still does need to do his mandatory stop because he stopped on lap 1.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, Kobayashi is also another one. He should have stopped again. I don't know what's going on in that team's garage then as well. Well, we're going to be back to green any moment. The pace is lifted. Safety car's gone. He'll catch him up though.
You'll see the.
Yeah, he's catching him up. The safety car's in now.
You'll see the front car is absolutely going to bolt it. Kunimoto stayed on medium tyres, by the way. He didn't actually change the soft in that pit stop that time.
Well, that makes no sense.
But I believe I can't remember if he actually started on softs or not. So Hirakawa is going to have to actually bolt for it. So you got Oshira, Cassidy in third place, Hour fourth, Noshiri fifth place, Shosuboi sixth. I mean, that's not too bad for Shosuboi. He was actually towards the rear of the field anyway, but it doesn't matter, Jott, because he's going to have to pit again in a moment.
Well,
Kunimoto dropping down the order.
I can't understand that pit strategy at all. He's on the wrong tyre. As you can see from the cars weaving on any straight section of track at all, nobody's got any tyre temperature because the safety car was so slow. So he's being mugged by everybody.
It's Kunimoto pitting.
Yeah.
Changing onto the softs.
Well, that makes more sense. Just didn't think about it, like.
I think they thought about it far too late.
That team also has the Magic Jack in use. We didn't get to see it used though, unfortunately. It's on Twitter. You'll find it.
We sometimes talk a lot about engineering in motorsport, and that's kind of the things that teams come up with that don't necessarily actually apply to the car that can be used in racing.
None of this nonsense like Formula 1 2021 with the standardised pit equipment. It's team sport. It's engineering. Let's have some proper racing. Hirakawa is properly racing because he's got a job on his hands because he's got to build up the gap of a pit advantage.
He's got 7.6 seconds over Yamashita already.
It's not enough though, is it?
Well, he's gonna need several laps of really putting it down.
He's gonna need about 30 seconds to make this a realistic chance of winning this race.
The only thing I can think of, Sam, is if he actually keeps bolting qualifying lap after qualifying lap after qualifying lap, and then go on a monster run. Well, he's gonna change to mediums, doesn't he? Yeah.
He's in trouble.
It doesn't work out for him either way.
Well, unless there's a safety car.
Unless there's a safety car. This will play a little bit into the hands of Yamamoto, who's currently 13th, but if you take the top 7 out of the equation, that's a 6th place.
It plays hugely into the hands of Yamamoto because the chap who's in 3rd position
will not be 3rd position.
No.
Once
Nick Cassidy. He's been strategically out-strategized.
And it hasn't worked out for Cassidy's teammate, Kazuki Nakajima, either, who's down in 18th place. And have lost out.
So, Super Ninja 92 asks a very good question. What are the green lights on the roll hoop, as you can see there on Hirakawa's car? That's an indication for you at home and us in the booth to work out when the driver is using the overtaking system. So each of these Super Formula cars is allowed a certain amount of extra fuel flow per, well, I think it's 30 seconds per race. And when the lights are flashing slowly, as you just saw with Kamui Kobayashi, it means that they've just used the overtaking system and can't use it again for 30 seconds. When it's flashing quickly, it means the overtaking system is in use and that car has extra power. As the race goes on, the lights change colour to eventually to red when they're running out of the available boost, and then go off altogether when they've got no boost left. So keep an eye on that through the race.
Keep an eye out as well for the moment on Pato O'Ward, who is currently 12th place, Sam. And I think he's done his mandatory stop.
He has.
And of course, he lost a lot of positions at the start. He had a very slow getaway, dropped to 19th, 18th, 19th initially. But with the pit strategy, he's actually gained a huge amount of places. He's just ahead of Naoki Yamamoto.
Well, depending how things shake out, he's in 5th position in this race.
And could be on for his first, as it stands at the moment, could be on for his first points finish up the season in his third Super Formula round. But that's a long way away. We're on lap 15. Well, start of lap 16 out of 68. Still a lot of racing left in this penultimate round of Super Formula, Sam.
Well, Sarah was asking where's her teddy bear. You'll see it at the end of the race. It is there. You saw it at the start of the race. It's just as random as ever. But this is going to be a race of tyre strategy. And who said tyre strategy was dull? I love this sort of racing. And someone else in the chat, I didn't see who it was, said it's gone full-on Motorsport Manager, the computer game. And it really has. There you can see the lights flashing furiously on the roll hoop there. I think that's Harrison Newey, isn't it? Yeah.
There's Palou behind Harrison Newey. Now, Alex Palou's guy we mentioned earlier on at the start of the race. He's third in the championship, 8 points behind Nick Cassidy. He is currently sitting 11th, and with the top 7 make their pits, this is going to probably change into 4th place for Palou at the moment. So not looking too shabby. He's also a couple of positions ahead of Yamamoto. So, good effort so far from the Spanish rookie. Came over from Euro Formula Open at the end of, and actually he was in European F3 as well last year. Already a race winner around this year. Shown very, very good pace. Took him a few rounds to actually get it together to have an actual finish at the points, but he has shown a lot of pace.
He's really been the sensation of this season, not just for the intro video for the Fuji race. If you don't know what I'm talking about, hit like and subscribe here on Let's Go Racing.
That was quite brilliant.
You can watch every race in full, and the opening of the race at Fuji Speedway is well worth watching, mainly for Alex Palou, what they do to him.
The Fuji race in general is actually quite stunning.
Well, every race is stunning in this championship.
Kobayashi has taken Sho Suboi for 6th place. So Sho Suboi just ahead of Kenta Yamashita now, who we think may end up being the kind of the leader once all the pit stops play out. Yamamoto on screen there. Reigning champion, he's done his mandatory stops. He's currently 13th.
And that's such bad news for Cassidy. It's not really much news at all for Alex Palou. But it's bad news also for Kamui Kobayashi. So the other 2 championship contenders, Naoki Yamamoto, looks like he's driving himself and through this tyre strategy. Well, a long way to go, but back into championship lead.
Now, what we do need to pay attention to, as I mentioned earlier on, is probably looking at about 30 seconds or so for a pit stop in Super Formula at the moment. So we're going to be also taking a look at the gaps through the field. Meanwhile, Cassidy third at the moment. He's about 4 seconds behind race leader Hirakawa.
And he needs to go out and make they all at the front just need to be putting lap times in. And I'm having a look at the lap times, and those lap times are not what you expect. So just hit like and subscribe, and you'll get this. It's almost an extended qualifying session at the moment for the front runners.
To put this into analysis, 18th at the moment, Nakajima, that's Cassidy's teammate, is already 23 seconds behind him. So I think we're going to see the top few cars, lean this out as much as possible to try and build a gap. Those cars in the pack are in traffic, so they are going to be losing time in that kind of context, whereas the front few are just out there pelting it, putting lap in, lap in, lap in, lap in, lap in.
12 seconds down to Sho Suboi.
So the gap is opening. If these soft tyres are lasting as long as we saw from practice, then we may see those top 6, top 7, really lean these cars out as much as possible to build a gap.
Alexander asks quite an interesting question about the overtaking system. As you can see, Kamui Kobayashi's current lap time's way off his best. If the overtaking system with the extra fuel flow that these cars have was used like DRS in Formula 1, would it damage the engine that there's a risk of engine failure mid-race? No, not really, because these engines are designed for that extra boost. It might shorten the life of the engine through the season, because like Formula 1, there is a limit of the number of engines each driver has, but like Formula 1, engine development is allowed in Super Formula. So I think you would, I don't know, you could use it like that, but to be honest, I wouldn't change it. It seems to work quite well. Taylor Brophy also says that we need more Super Formula races in the season. It's great. Yes, it is great, and we do need more Super Formula races in a season. Where would you like to see Super Formula going? Don't say Mondello Park. There are other racetracks in the world. And if you say Phoenix Park, I'll subscribe to that.
Actually, yeah, Phoenix. These cars at Phoenix Park would
It'd
be
be
great.
amazing, yeah. Barry Rabbit would still
It'd be like Ireland 1933 all over again.
Exactly. Well, Kamui Kobayashi there in car 18 getting right on to the back of Nojiri.
For 5th place, Sam.
Yeah, but Kobayashi's still got this weird strategy going on where he stopped on the first lap, which isn't allowed within the regulations, so he has to stop again. Certainly that's my interpretation of the new rule, or the rules for this race only, which may or may not be in use in Suzuka. No one seems to actually know.
Well, I mean, this rule about the mandatory tyres change at lap 10 really only came in a few days ago as well. So it does seem like something it's been trialled on a kind of race by race basis, knowing particularly in this instance that the soft tyres were running very, very well. As you see on screen there, the top 3 cars are Toyota powered cars. Hirakawa, Ashura, and Cassidy. 4th place and 5th place, Hour and Nojiri are Honda power cars. Then you got a batch of Toyotas as well. For a lot of this weekend, this track really has favoured the Toyotas very, very much. So, I mean, taking into account, that is 7 of the top 9 are Toyota cars.
Yeah, it's really gone well for Toyota now. Toyota are using the Biz 001 engine, which is loosely based on the GT500 Super GT engine, but isn't exactly the same specification. Uses some lower grade metals and alloys in its construction, whereas the Super GT engine uses some really high grade alloys that are especially created for Toyota to use, or TRD to use in racing. So you'll only be finding that full-on specification engine in Super GT next year in the new Supra, which has been testing. Honda, though, are using their full-blooded Super GT engine in the back of their cars here. It doesn't seem to be working too well for them. Hope it works better in the new front engine, which is weird. Honda NSX in Super GT. You'll see that next season as well.
One thing to keep an eye out as well, as I mentioned a few moments ago, the strategy of the top 6 to actually go out and pelt it. Well, at the moment, Hirakawa, Ashura, Cassidy, etc. are all running in the mid 1 minute 16, Sam. They're running 3/4 of a second to over 1 second a lap slower than the drivers in the pack on softs racing each other. So that gap is building. As it stands, the front 3, if they were to pit now, they're getting to the point where they would actually begin to feed into the pack. They're not going to be behind the pack.
And that's all right. It's 14.2. Thank you, Manuel Razo, by the way, from Mexico, supporting Pato Ward. Don't forget to like and subscribe and join our stream if you want, because it's a lot of fun here at Let's Go Racing. We like to say so anyway. 14 seconds from the restart from Hirakawa back to Sho Suboi, who is the first of the drivers to not... Well, who's on the other strategy. And that's been in not a huge number of laps, in about 4 or 5 laps. So in about 4 or 5 laps' time, they might be back into the pit window. But meanwhile, suggestions as to where Super Formula should race. Darien Quinn suggests Watkins Glen or Mosport. Mosport would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about the Glen. Those bog people are a bit, might set fire to your car or something. Railfan 608, Pukekohe Park in New Zealand. Now that absolutely, if you go...
Do you know, actually, can I add another New Zealand track into that? Hampton Downs.
Well, so the cars will take off going over the crest. Clive Bowen designed that track, and it's quite a
brilliant track.
It is a brilliant track. But Puke is a fantastic track. If you go elsewhere on YouTube and search for Formula V racing, there's some onboard battles there, and it is just slipstream-tastic. It's so entertaining to watch. Kwazum Haha says Rapuna would be a great track for it. I don't know that track too well.
It's another New Zealand track.
There you go. There's lots of Nick Cassidy fans in there. Super Formula in Sebring suggests Darien Quinn.
Any single seater at Sebring would be quite strange. You'd have to raise the ride height to such a degree to take into account the...
They raced the Skip Barber cars there before the Sebring 12 Hours.
Really?
Yeah. I thought about entering that one. Track Day Media says he likes a suggestion in a previous race of a street course. I absolutely think that's what Super Formula is.
Birmingham.
The UK government now has the Road Race Act back in force, so you can hold street races in the UK. No one's actually done it yet. There's been a couple of stage rallies, but that's about it.
Yes, it was they're using it to link the roads between stages, but that's an entirely different discussion. we can get that into a discussion at a later date. JPTV asks, question for the commentators: do you think Red Bull made a smart decision putting O'Ward in this series, or should they have left him in IndyCar?
Very smart decision. He's going to be out here in Japan. Pressure's off him. The attention isn't on him. Well, it is now, isn't it? But oh no, look at the right front there of.
I was going to bring this up, Sam.
Yeah.
The top 6 are actually dropping into the 17s.
Yeah, but look at that right front. It is blistered to hell.
But
Sheeran is in trouble on that.
But what I'll add to that as well is the top 6 are losing time on their soft tyres. So are the drivers on soft tyres in the pack. In the pack, they're actually dropping to the late 1 minute 17s, 1 minute 18s. They actually everyone seems to be losing time in tandem now. Maybe these soft tyres on these the conditions we have specifically today are actually wearing quite a bit more than what we'd seen previously. And that raises a question: is do you stay out and try and make that soft tyre last, or do you go for a second stop? The medium tyre is still going to be too slow. If you change to the medium tyre, you're still going to be in the 1 minute 18s no matter what. So is the window for a second stop actually opening?
I'm not sure, because looking at the state of Ishiura's front tyre and then comparing it to Cassidy's look fine, but Ishiura looks to be in tyre trouble. But Cassidy isn't making the ground up on Ishiura at the moment, as you can see on your screen.
But what I would say about Cassidy, you've seen him do this several times this year, is actually work very, very, very well with tyre life. He's had several races where he maybe not qualified as well, but actually raced into very, very good positions on the basis of him being able to manage his tyre life.
Lucas Auer's tyres look good as well. Another one of the drivers in Red Bull's program, I think partly by dint of being Gerhard Berger's nephew.
But also, the other thing to understand, I think, with Lucas Auer's position in the Red Bull Junior Driver program, he is, I think, a really, really, really good benchmark as well.
And he's Austrian, which Red Bull quite like. But yes, you're right, he is a good benchmark.
We're talking about he was a race winner in Formula 3, European Formula 3 back in 2012, 2013. He's a DTM factory driver as well, for Mercedes for 4 years. Very much a known quantity and very well respected driver, actually. So while he may not end up in Formula 1, or he may not necessarily be a target for Formula 1, I think Auer works as a very, very good benchmark to see where your drivers are at.
And where are Red Bull's drivers at? Well, they're in 3rd position. 4th. No, get Cassidy.
But Cassidy is now, he's been nominated now. He's a Red Bull affiliated athlete. So he's not actually part of the junior program. He was actually a member of the junior program back in 2013. When I remember he came over to Europe racing in the European Formula 3 for Carlin and Euro International. Gosh, that brings me back.
I was chatting to him and his dad in a park in the middle of the night a few weeks ago.
Anyway, Kenta Yamashita on screen. It's
no, but I mean,
running 8th place, and as we potentially the default leader, as it were, at this stage.
I had a bag of hot noodles for dinner in my bag, and he had a bag of something as well. And but no, we were talking about Formula 1 prospects, and he's quite keen. Well, there's Kenta Yamashita talking to us live from the car, of course.
シーズンに入ってみると、その勢いはどっか行っちゃってなかなか厳しい戦いが続いてるので、何かこうきっかけをつかんで、1回でも勝てればまた流れも変わってくると思うので、本当に優勝をまず目指して、いろいろ試していきたいですね。はい。
Yes. Derek Woods talking about where we can race Super Formula 5000 raced at Sebring. That would be interesting. True Seeker race at Goodwood, a little bit dangerous, I'd say.
And I don't necessarily think Goodwood is actually a good race circuit. It's a good time trial circuit.
Yeah, well, I mean that's for years before they sort of started it up. It was used for sprints and hill climb, for sprint events for local motor clubs, and that's all stopped, unfortunately. Super Formula at Portimao would be awesome. I like the hotel on the beach there. That'd be nice. RJ O'Connell, actually, I'm with RJ O'Connell on this. Bring Super Formula to the Roval, Charlotte Roval, that would be fantastic. Restia says the same. IndyCar, Excalibur says IndyCar race its final event at Laguna Seca. Like it always is there. Final event?
Yeah, they went back to Laguna Seca this year.
Yeah.
It'd be great to see these cars there as well. Imagine these cars over the corkscrew.
And California coast, it's a good Japanese contingent there in California, so good work.
But at the moment,
that's a realistic suggestion.
Yeah. Kenta Yamashita making the best of his soft tyres at Okayama at the moment, and he is currently across the line at the moment. He's still in line for the win as it stands at the moment. Hirakawa is not building enough of a gap.
Yeah, the gap's not going out anymore. The pack's just sort of
the gap
is 14 seconds from lead to first of the strategy.
The gap is now 19 seconds from Hirakawa to Kenta Yamashita. And I think it's still growing by about 3 to 4 tenths of a second a lap, but the second to 1.2 seconds lap change difference we saw a few tours ago is gone. See Nakajima on screen at the moment. He's running in 18th place.
His tyres beginning to look a little bit ropey as well. Right front again. So that seems to be the tyre that's under pressure here at Okayama. Previously known as Tanaka International Aida. Tanaka was the man who built the track, millionaire. There was an art gallery. There was the Bugatti Club in Tokyo. It was a millionaire's playground, and not many millionaires turned up. So he sold it.
Formula 1 did for 2 years.
Yeah, he got Formula 1 in for 2 years to the circuit for the Pacific Grand Prix. There you can see that damage on Nakajima's tyre, developing in the centre again. A little bit of wear. And then the town of Aida changed its name after being amalgamated with 2 other towns. So Aida is no longer a place. It's forget the name of the new town. But it's not Tanaka International, it's not Aida, it's just in Okayama. But the track isn't actually in Okayama town, it's quite a long way away. It takes ages to get there on the bullet train.
Watching Nakajima on screen, this is interesting though, because Nakajima may be down in 18th place. But this is whereabouts where when Hirakawa and Ishura, etc., start to pit, they will come out just ahead of Nakajima in around the Makino-Nakajima battle at the moment. Sakaguchi there in 16th place as well as it stands. So they're slowly but surely picking off positions, picking off drivers where they will end up in the pack. The gap from the race leader Hirakawa to Nakajima is now 39 seconds. So they will actually come out around 15th, 16th place once they stop. So you look at Harrison Newey, 10th place. He's made a stop already. As it stands, he's not scored a points yet so far this season. He showed some solid pace in the races, but he's had several incidents in the pits. And
his car keeps catching fire, is what you're saying?
Yes. Well, it hasn't done in a while.
No, but the rear wing end plate on the exhaust side is looking a bit toasty, so you never know. See his race number going a bit brown with heat. You're watching the penultimate round of the 2019 Super Formula Championship here live in full, uninterrupted as ever on Let's Go Racing. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more of this action. Lots more action coming up as well. 38 laps to go. This is the end of lap 30. That's Harrison Newey.
And of course I'm an idiot.
Yes, I know, but so does everybody else. But is there a specific reason you say that?
Because Nakajima, I'm getting quite confused with Nakayama. Nakajima is actually running just ahead of Harrison Newey at the moment, so his strategy is working out reasonably well at the moment. Forget everything I said a few moments ago.
Meanwhile, I'm just going to say thank you to somebody. Sheeran Motorsports, thank you for your Canadian dollars. That helps us. All these people who donate to this channel help us bring you lots more motorsport. And speaking of more motorsport, I'm going to again announce announcements, mainly because I don't know what the announcements are, but other than that, there's going to be more motorsport on this channel. So speculation in the chat box as usual. So that'll be fun then, won't it? I'm still holding out for K4GP. What? If you haven't seen it, Google it, but after the race. Don't do it now.
Meanwhile, the pace has leveled off quite a bit now. They generally have most of the field in the 1 minute 17s. And I'm beginning to think that it's not really necessarily a case of tyre wear. Are we seeing an effect now of drivers actually trying to level their pace off somewhat in order to make their soft tyres last to the end of this race? We're on lap 31 as it stands at the moment. There's still another 36 laps after this.
Well,
and I say that, here comes into the pits.
On cue. I was about to say.
Oh, it's not a
drive-through.
And is that...
For unsafe release of tyre with no air in?
Yes, possibly.
Yeah, don't know.
I mean, I'd be very keen to find out how that entire situation came to pass.
Yeah, we didn't get a good... Unfortunately, we didn't get to see... Oh, there is a team waiting at the end of pit road there. I just spotted. I didn't see which team it was. So it looks like somebody is waiting for a pit stop. No, that's
him. Yeah, that's as he's leaving the pits.
Yeah, going off with no air in the tyre. That is still very strange how he came out of the pits with a flat tyre.
It doesn't look as if the wing had damage. One of the things he theorised was maybe if the engineer had clipped the wing and maybe cut down the tyre.
That wouldn't be an engineer, that would be a mechanic.
Or sorry, mechanic, yeah. But it looks fine. The front wing actually looks absolutely fine. So I'm really, really curious to find out how that
I just wonder if they let him go with no air in the tyre.
I've never seen that before. I've never come across that before.
That's quite an odd failure. I'm actually having a little rummage to find out if I can get any clarity on this, and no.
The one thing that is playing into the hands of the top 6, those drivers who haven't stopped yet. Well, sorry, top 7, these drivers who haven't made their mandatory stop yet, is the drivers towards the rear of the field from Yamamoto onwards are actually now in the 1:18 18s. They're beginning to drop a lot more pace than those at the in the front of the field. And that is curious because that does include Yamamoto, as I mentioned, who is the second in the championship at the moment, who's beginning to drop.
No, this is crucial. Right front tyre. I told you he was having trouble. It's Issac, and he massively locked it up again. He's lost all performance from that right front, and I think it might have gone. It has, yeah, it's gone down.
It's gone down.
He's blown it. I told you that there was a problem on that tyre.
That's second place, Hiroki Sheeran, not second place anymore.
Yeah, and I think now we saw a few other cars with that same telltale stripe in the middle of the tyre. I think we're going to see some. I think we've got tyre trouble here.
And as you mentioned, there were people in pits, possibly waiting. So I wonder, was Sheeran due to come back in soon?
Well, they were wearing black overalls, and his crew do wear black overalls. So
I wonder if they were expecting him to come in soon, and it's actually just gone before he's had an opportunity to actually come in.
And there are the crews, but that's a second tyre failure we've seen in this race. Now, these Yokohamas are usually absolutely reliable. We haven't seen any tyre failures at all this season. And now we've seen two strange tyre failures. Or one that just looks like he wore it out, frankly. And this is the second failure on the front tyre. The other one was, of course, as we saw on that TCS Nakajima car of Makino. Now, that drive-through penalty Makino got was for going off behind the safety car. But as we see here on Ishiura's car, that problem is more down to the fact there was no air in the tyre, and there's no air in the tyre in this case. So I think he just wore a hole in it, you know?
I think Nakajima, you mentioned, was looking also as if...
Yeah, there's a couple other cars. Well...
We got a message from Via Dolorosa.
Didn't they change the nose of the car on the second pit stop? We don't know. We didn't see it, unfortunately. So, couldn't tell you. I don't think they did.
I don't remember seeing that, but we can review later on, really. Yeah. Cassidy now second place. The gap is actually 3 seconds. Cassidy's up this pace. He's back in the early 1:17. So he's back in a position where he's actually gaining nearly a second a lap on the pack in the field. So
he needs to.
But I think this is, as I said earlier on, Cassidy's very much a driver who knows how to work his tyres and keep the life in them while still maintaining a solid pace as we come to the halfway point in this race. He's still slowly but surely playing himself into this race. It won't be a win, but he still may pull some big points out of this. We shall see as Issac rolls slowly into his pit box.
They've got a magic jack as well, but we still didn't see it. Now, we can't see the look of the right front looked pretty worse for wear there as well. Now, no fuel. I didn't see any fuel going in the car. Yeah. We haven't spoken about fuel strategy here because refueling is allowed in Super Formula, and those are mediums he's gone on to, is it? He's whacked on a set of mediums.
The red sidewall?
No,
they are.
He's gone on to the mediums. Well, that's just baffling. struggling. I wonder if they've run out. If they run out of soft, that was his teammate going through. So he wanted to get well out of the way of that. Oh. Well then, Team Inging.
Well, this is
baffling the commentators on Super Formula.
It is, unfortunately, at this stage, a bit of a test session now for Sheeran. He's going around the track on a slow tyre.
Via Dolorosa says he saw the crew holding a nose for Makino's car. So I wonder if that was that. Maybe they have changed it. I wonder if during the jumping over the nose sequence, which we haven't seen in this race because I haven't shown many pit stops, the mechanic landed on the front wing, driving out the pits, that end plate moved back and cut the tyre, though it didn't look to be quite clear cut as that, but that's my theory and I'm sticking with it.
Now, one thing we need to look at is we see Cassidy just 3.1 seconds behind race leader Hirakawa, 2.8 now, and we're guessing around a 30 to 32 second gap needed for a pit stop. This, if Cassidy were to stop now, that would actually drop him just behind Yamamoto.
That'd be fun.
Because Yamamoto has actually dropped 30 seconds, already half a minute behind the race leader. And not far ahead of him, you have Pato Award, 28 seconds, and then you got Alex Palou, 27 seconds, and Harrison Newey, 26 seconds. So these drivers, in the late 1 minute 17s, the gap is forming.
So Cassidy, this is a battle for the it's not the battle for the lead, but it's a battle for the championship, isn't it?
This is a battle probably to come out 4th, 5th, 6th place once all the stops kind of.
And I like our new producer.
I think Cassidy's going to keep on going for as many laps as he can to build at least a 32 to 33 second gap.
Well, he hasn't got far to go, as you can see. It's built up to 28 seconds.
It's also going to be a short fuel stop as well.
Yes. Well, if you've refueled at all, we don't know how much fuel is in the car.
Well, they didn't fuel. They didn't pit that time. So
yeah, but you can. The thing about the Super Formula fuel tank is it can hold enough to do the complete race, so you don't have to refuel. It's just an option.
So this has been a fantastic run so far, actually, by the top 6. And the same, this is working out very well for Hirakawa. This is it. Race winner last time out in Motegi.
This is another sort of command performance there by Nick Cassidy.
The gap, by the way, to Kenta Yamashita. Kenta Yamashita is the leading driver who's done his mandatory stops. He's 23 to 24 seconds behind race leader Hirakawa. So it may not necessarily, with a few more laps, it may not necessarily be as clear cut for Yamashita either.
But some of these guys, like Cassidy, they still have to adopt that not particularly nice medium tyre.
True.
And they've got 30 laps to go. We've seen that there are potential life issues with these soft tyres on the front end. Now, Kumakichi has said, RJ O'Connell says...
Makino suffered a left front puncture exiting the pit lane after striking a tyre in the box of another team. That would make a lot of sense.
That would make sense,
That would make an awful lot of sense, actually.
Well, that makes a lot more sense. RJ O'Connell, of course, monitoring things somewhere in America. Probably wearing a Calsonic t-shirt.
This is still a very, very, very good pace being put up by both Hirakawa and Cassidy. Cassidy, and actually third place, Lucas Auer is running a very, very good pace. And also, fourth, Nohiri, he's in a 1 minute 16, Sam. So the top 4 are running a very, very, very good pace. We got drivers from Yamamoto in the late 1 minute 17s, and then everyone back. And some of the drivers just ahead of Yamamoto running in the 1 minute 18s. Some of them are losing a second to over one second a lap again now, as they were earlier on. We had that portion earlier on where the times leveled out across the field, but the gaps are really beginning to build again.
Ishira's coming back to pit lane. Nate Lecard, thanks very much. Scuba and Tokachi would be great for the Super Formula schedule. Actually, they're really good. Tokachi would be fantastic. And Scuba. Better known for drifting events, but Scuba would be great. And there is Ishira.
So is this going to be another tyre? Oh, is he going to change?
He's on mediums, remember? But I thought he'd already done the medium bit.
No, because actually he hadn't stopped at all. He started on the softs, changed to mediums, is now going back on the softs again. For the
there we go. Now have a look at the rear jack. Have they got the magic jack here? No, that's not a magic jack at all. That's in fact not a magic pit stop.
Yeah, that is a potentially race-ending pit stop. Has he done damage to the car when actually he was wandering around on the
I wonder.
tyre?
Or has he just got bored and given up? Anyway, that's that for him.
So I wonder maybe if he'd also damaged the floor while also wandering around on the not a punctured tyre.
Could be. I mean, the tyre it wasn't completely deflated. It was, but he looks a bit deflated, doesn't he? Oh well, that's that for him. At least he can get the early Shinkansen home.
The gap between the top two, by the way, is now just 2 seconds. Cassidy is actually beginning to reel Hirakawa in. And, we look at Oshima on track there. It's set.
It's a replay.
This
it's a
is
very sideways.
That's Sukakoshi actually going off slightly, and I think that's Oshima getting by.
Yeah,
and I wonder if that right front is a right front going on Sukakoshi as well.
Couldn't quite tell because he was out of shot, and basically he's been out of shot for most of the race because we haven't even mentioned him until now.
But those drivers who have changed to the soft at the end of the safety car period, a lot of them are now in the 1 minute 18s. So they are losing time, Sam.
Yeah.
And you got Cassidy, who's just done a 1 minute 17.0. This is still very much playing into his hands. I think there's still a big result on here for Nick Cassidy, should he continue like this.
I really think there is. And this is a battle. As I said, this is a battle between Cassidy and Yamamoto at the moment. That's the battle to watch. And Alex Palou is also a factor in that. He's only a few seconds up the road ahead of Yamamoto.
And for those wondering as well, the reason we're probably focusing on Cassidy quite a bit is he is the leader of the championship at the moment. I think Hirakawa, if it continues like this, Hirakawa and Hour, and possibly Nohiri as well, are going to come out with some very, very good results.
It's going to be some action at the end of this, though. Once these guys put onto the mediums, it's going to be And
you know, Kobayashi's
got to stop again.
Kobayashi only has to change on the softs. That was a mistake on the tyre graphic we saw there. The top, well, everyone apart from Ashira was on the softs. So Kobayashi actually has to change onto the softs. He's 8 seconds behind. He's 5th place, 8 seconds behind race leader Hirakawa. The top 4 all have to change onto the mediums. So this could still play into Kobayashi's hands as well.
Yeah, it really could actually. Now we think about it, he's going to make a late stop, have a fresh set of softs, and just have at it on a lightweight car. That's quite good. DX FIFA says he thinks the softs will be doing 19s when the front guys do 18s on the mediums late in the race. Yeah, tyre wear is a factor here. We've seen one car have a failure due to wear, and there was another car, Nakajima, who we haven't seen on track for a while on this camera. We did see that his right front was looking distinctly second-hand in exactly the same way as Ishiura's was before he had that tyre failure. So let's keep an eye on that. Is this Nakajima? No, it's not. No, that's the Ingin car.
That's Shosubai.
Come on, there's Nakajima.
That's Shosubai in 6th place.
And here is Nakajima coming towards us. You can see that distinct stripe on his tyre very, very clearly.
But it hasn't blown as Ashira's tyre had actually blown.
No, but that's the thing. We saw the stripe for a while first. But also, speaking about stripes on the front tyre, that's the race leader. Hirakawa is now showing that same characteristic wear pattern. Now, is that the end of the life of the softs? Is that its little telltale before it goes flat? He's still got a long way to go. And 27 laps on the mediums is not going to put you in contention for the win, I don't think.
Any pit stop now will drop them in between Yamamoto and Oshima.
The TV director thinks the battle for P1 is between Hirakawa and Yamashita. That's why he's showing you that gap. I'm not sure that's a real battle for the lead, actually, because when you factored in the media tyres. Kevin Bay asked, are you going to do next season of Super Formula on Let's Go Racing? Well, if you like it, all hit like and subscribe and we get 300 likes on this stream, yeah, we probably will. But if we don't know, might go and do politics or something.
And I'll be back.
Irish politics. Taoiseach.
Kenta Yamashita. A very, very good job. Actually, yeah, he was my guess for the race win. So, just ahead of Kazuki Nakajima. Well, these guys have been running the soft tyres since lap 10 as well, so they still may feel quite a lot of pain in those final laps, even though the other drivers will be on mediums now. So that's going to be, when they pit, that'll be nearly 60 laps on those tyres.
Yeah, and we've seen, as I say, I don't know if it's guys will do it for some reason here. These Yokohamas seem to be struggling for life. Speaking of Yamamoto's and speaking of politics, there was the Yamamoto running for election in Japan. Sakon.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yes, didn't win.
Oh.
Spoiler.
As Hirakawa comes across line, the gap now to Cassidy is 1.5 seconds. Cassidy, this is interesting. He's taking time out of Hirakawa, slowly but surely crawling up to the back of the Team Impul car. He's not making any dive bombs. He's not making any hugely aggressive moves. He doesn't need to. He still needs to actually maintain life in those tires. So he's playing a very, 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 very solid, good game this time. Our third place, just over 2 seconds behind them. He's driven a very, very good race in the Team Mugen car.
Well, Cassidy, because there you can see the TV director is picking up on that stripe appearing on the race leader's car. There's Cassidy, and his tyres look fresh.
His tyres still look good.
Yeah, and he's closing the gap now. So if he gets into the lead and gets into a little bit of clean air, that will help him keep his tyres alive a little bit longer and open up that gap a little bit more. And as long as he can stay in front of Naoki Yamamoto and ideally Alex Palou. We haven't seen that gap for a while between the two. I'm going to try and calculate it myself, which means it'll probably be wrong.
The gap between Cassidy and Yamamoto at the moment is 32 seconds. So
look at you, smarty pants.
It's thereabouts. But as you said, it's going to mean Cassidy for quite a few laps on those medium tyres. And balance that against the old soft tyres that the rest of the field are going to be on. I still think Cassidy needs to clear Hirakawa because Hirakawa does seem to be losing pace. With that kind of slightly wearing right front he's got.
Fastest man on track at the moment, though, Kamui Kobayashi. It's an interesting one, isn't he?
In 8th to 5th place, yes.
Yeah.
What a woman is 16.9.
Yeah, significantly faster than a lot of the cars around him. I'm just looking at the timing screen. He's absolutely in clear space. James Goffrey, thank you. Leo Gorman's my favourite commentator.
Apparently I'm someone's hero. I am a hero. I'm a Superman of the commentators. I would be Batman, but he was taken.
Yeah, that's not what we were saying, actually. So
apparently I'm modest as well. Meanwhile, 7th place, we're looking at Kenta Yamashita. He's already made his mandatory stop, as we mentioned earlier on, and this is going to be a battle between tyre strategy. Kenta Yamashita's already had the medium tyres at the start of the race changed to the soft when a safety car came out for Nirei Fukuzumi's off into the gravel trap, which we think was actually a mechanical failure. That's
Kamui Kobayashi. He's come
He's behind Nohiri. He's climbed right to the back of Nohiri.
Yeah, it was 5 seconds ago when I looked at the clock, but it's come screaming down.
Kobayashi really, really running some solid pace now. Nohiri has...
It has to be Najiri because Ishihara isn't in the race, so yeah, I was a bit surprised. It was 5 seconds when I looked at the gaps before, but now it's, well, none. Well, I told you he was quick. And there's Lucas Al just in front of him.
I think both of these do need to actually make moves because I think with the pace of Hirakawa and separately Nohiri is going off now to the stage as we see Sekiguchi just behind Tokokoshi. I think they don't want to get necessarily because I think Cassidy and Kobayashi are now beginning to run into the situation where they could get held up by the cars in front of them. I think they need to probably dispatch them quite soon.
I was about to say, I think we were looking at the wrong car because this was the battle I wanted to watch.
The gap in the front is actually just a second now, so I think Cassidy needs to get ahead of Hirakawa quickly now.
He really does.
Because I think Hirakawa's pace is probably edging slightly towards holding Cassidy up. The gap is, as you see on screen, 1.1 seconds.
No, it's not.
Now it's 0.7. Cassidy does need to be closer. He needs to be much closer coming out of that final corner to really make that move down the start finish straight work.
Now, a lot of quite interesting chat on the chat room about drivers and using tyres wisely and keeping tyres alive. Of course, that is a key skill in another single-seater series, which is playing around in Vladimir Putin's backyard later today. And
very large garden.
He does. It's called the Crimea, probably, but you know.
It's called Sochi.
Yeah, exactly. That's his swimming pool, isn't it? But yeah, it's actually the key skills on display here are applicable to Pirelli rubber. And again, is this another three-dimensional CV being thrown in the direction of Helmut Marko by a young Kiwi driver? We're still allowed to call him young. He's in his 20s, but it's young compared to me. And you. Hey, you're getting old, mate.
just experienced. Anyway.
There is Naoki Yamamoto in 12th, another driver chasing the attentions of Helmut Marko, and probably the one leading in the attentions of Mr. Marko, the Dr. Marko, at the moment. And that is the gap between the two title rivals, 34 seconds. What did you say it had to be, Lee?
I think around 30 to 32.
Yeah. But then you've got the medium tyre loss that he's expecting.
So when we saw drivers on medium tyres earlier on in this race, they were running into 1 minute 18s. And a little bit of gravel on track there. And actually, Yamamoto's just run over, or not gravel, but it was actually debris on track. And Yamamoto's just run over it. As you see Cassidy with his flashing roll hoop bar trying to find a way past Hirakawa. He's not going to do it there, but he is showing Hirakawa his intentions.
Yeah, but I think he pressed the button a bit early there, actually. The overtaking system boost, he didn't get best out of that because he's closed right up to the back of him. So unless he's planning to do it in about a lap's time, takes... there's Mr. Tachi from Tachi Oiwa Motorsport, Tom's. Nothing to do with anybody called Tom or Thomas.
But I think, as I mentioned earlier on, the issue that Cassidy does seem that he's not close enough coming out of the final corners, that double right-hand final corner, to make the move on Hirakawa at the moment. Hirakawa just has enough of an advantage. It's staking at 0.7 of a second, and Cassidy's not able to make that crucial final move, as it were, final boost, as it were, to actually get close enough to Hirakawa to make the pass work.
20 laps to go. Two cars on screen you're seeing at the moment have to make a stop. Cassidy's lap times are pretty good, though.
They're still very good. He's still quicker. He's still actually over half a second quicker than Yamamoto, etc. in the pack. Our, meanwhile, is catching both of them. He's in a 1 minute 16s.
Oh, Yamamoto looked a little bit sideways coming out of the final corner there.
And is he getting a little bit of wear on his right front as well, Sam?
We saw a little bit. Yeah, I noticed that earlier. Yeah, burgeoning. Yes.
And bear in mind, he's still got to do 20 laps on these tyres.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll go the distance. It does look. I mean, we did see that prediction on the chat over 118 for the worn softs. Will a worn soft be the match for the cold, not working particularly well medium? It's hard to say.
The other issue is, as well, with regards to the medium, is the air temperature today is 24 degrees. I can't quite remember what the track temperature is, but it's not necessarily high. It's not as high a temperature necessary for the medium tyres to really get into the right groove, as it were.
Yeah, it's the air temperature's quite high because it's a cloudy day. The track temperature's only about 30. We saw it at the start. Air temperature 30, track temperature 37. It must be humid as hell. We did see the humidity, and it must be very sticky and sweaty. And we did see Kenta Yamashita taking some of the magic powder that sports people use, sort of those hydration-y magic salt things, in a sachet. That, or he was just guzzling raw coffee granules. Did that once. It was disgusting. Wouldn't recommend it.
Neither would most doctors. See on screen there's Kobayashi there chasing Noshiri still for fourth place. That is another battle that seems to have locked in because Kobayashi doesn't now have enough of an advantage to actually make that move past Nohiri.
Yeah, Sugio Matsuda is on the pit wall. Nissan's GT500 driver, also races in various other bits and pieces. Probably just getting on the radio to Kamui saying, "Have at it, Kamui." Must be pretty awkward having a driver like Matsuda on the pit wall talking to you. He's like, yeah, I can do better than that.
This gap between his top five, it's still 5 seconds covering this top five, Sam. You got Auer in the middle, who's not part of Nohiri Kobayashi battle, and he's also just shy of the Hirakawa Cassidy battle as well. He's just over 2.5 seconds off the lead.
Now, Kobayashi's extremely close to the back of Nojiri here, but look at his roll hoop. He's not using his overtaking system.
Does he feel he needs to be closer to actually make that work?
Oh, I was wondering, because we saw Cassidy using it from quite a long way back, but you'd think he's pretty close now. I mean...
Because once it's used, they're not allowed to use it for a portion of time afterwards.
Yeah.
So I think they still have to use it somewhat strategically, as it were.
They certainly do, but with another pit stop due for Kobayashi as well, you think the key here is just to get past and get off. And actually, for Nojiri, there's no real point in defending too hard against Kobayashi because they're not really racing each other.
As an aside to all of this discussion we've had about tyres recently,
that could be the name of your new YouTube show.
Ooh.
As an aside of Harrison Newey.
Starring
Theo Gorman.
Harrison Newey, 9th place. He's actually set his fastest laps of the race 3 times in the last 4 laps. He's actually in the 1:17.0s at the moment, so he's getting plenty of life out of 40-lap-year-old soft tyre. So up until now, he has actually been kind of edging the pace in the kind of mid-1:17s to late 1:17s, but he's still there behind Nakajima, behind Kenta Yamashita, who technically is looking at a top 5 at least at this point in the race. So very, very, very good job. As we see Kobayashi's pit crew there and waiting. Kobayashi, of course, has not made his mandatory stop yet because he stopped in the opening lap of the race.
This will be it. I wonder if he'll just use the OTS system to pump in fast lap times. He's still got it fully loaded by the look of it, so he's going to dive into the pits this time by.
Now bear in mind, Kobayashi 4.5 seconds behind the lead. We'll keep an eye out on where he actually emerges in the pack and how long he needs, or how long is needed really to
and keep an eye on the fuel rig as well.
17 laps left. We are very much in the final quarter of this race.
Does he need any petrol?
Yes.
Well, we don't know that.
Well, I'm just guessing.
Ah, well, he may well do.
I know.
Let's find out. Here he goes. They've also got this team also seems to have the Magic Jack, so hopefully we'll get a rear end shot of Kobayashi's car.
Now remember, the gap to the leader was 4.5 seconds. We'll see in a lapse timer, so
he's not going to give us a rear end shot, is he? That's a shame.
And the awning's in the way. No!
Let's fuel in. Need quite a bit of fuel.
And out on softs again.
No, that is a daily routine, yeah. Straight onto the softs, and it's left him miles down the order. How far down the order has he come out? My computer isn't liking my timing screen. He's come out 12th, I think. 12th, I think, yeah. So he's still a chance of points, actually. In fact, a very good chance of points with a bunch car still due to stop.
And he was the last running of he was the second last running of the non-stoppers. Of course, Shosuboi in 5th place, now 5th place, still hasn't stopped. He's 17 seconds behind the leader, though. Bit of no man's land for Shosuboi at the moment, but he started 18th place, so he may pick up something from this.
Now, if he can get some clear air on fresh tyres and just have at it and put in those fast laps I talked about, maybe using the OTS to sort of boost lap time rather than overtake anybody, he could well find himself a lot further up. The team seem quite happy about it. Lots of smiles on the pit wall. KCMG crew.
Now, what's interesting actually this with Kobayashi is we said earlier on where Kobayashi pitted on lap 1 and he got rid of the medium tyre. So although he has now done his mandatory stop, he technically only did 1 lap on those medium tyres.
So did a lot of cars.
No, because the rest of the cars came in on lap 10.
Yeah, and then they did 1 lap. So some of the soft runners came in, did 1 lap under the safety car and put it back on a soft.
So yeah, they only need to do the single lap.
Yeah. I can see them banning that.
Well, that was my initial thought. Was actually while not actually having pitted inside the mandatory window, he has only done the single lap on that medium tyre. He's done, although it has meant he's had to do 2 stops.
I do like it where Super Formula comes up with some regulations. The teams find a way around the regulations. So if Super Formula changes them, the teams find another way around them.
As an aside, Kobayashi lost 40 seconds. He lost 40 seconds. He's lost a little bit more time on his outlap because there's no tyre warmers in Super Formula, but he has lost approximately 38 to 40 seconds in that pit stop.
Yeah.
And he has dropped him 13th place behind Oshima, so...
38 to 40 seconds? What's the gap from first to Yamamoto?
38.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be quite fun, that, isn't it? 1 softs,
Hirakawa, and the thing is, Yamamoto's in the 1:18s now, so Hirakawa and Cassidy are still taking 3/4 of a second out of Yamamoto and a lot of the drivers around them. So,
and Cassidy isn't allowed to stop on the last lap. That's been banned.
We're allowed to stop in the penultimate lap. This course comes about of the final round or last round at Motegi when Sakaguchi made his pit stop as he basically crossed the line.
Yeah, which is now against the rules. Could Cassidy and some of the others go to the right to the end, Hirakawa as well, actually?
Pit on lap 67?
Yeah, pit on lap 67 and then do one lap, but that's going to bring them back for a one-lap battle. Risky.
It's risky, but if they feel that the gap is there for them to slot into, the one thing they do need to be careful of, of course, they are going to be slower for that one lap, but as I said, there's no tyre warmers in Super Formula. You're going to lose quite a lot of time on those cold medium tyres, so you're going to have to possibly bank a window of an additional 5 seconds to not get just passed by the guys on worn soft tyres.
Exactly, so it's a little bit awkward, or you have to do it earlier in the race, you see.
But let's also take into account, a lot of these drivers come towards the end of this race, maybe just over 10 laps time, are going to be on very, very old, worn soft tyres. From Kenta Yamashita onwards, these guys, they all pitted on lap 10.
Didn't I say Kenta Yamashita was going to win this race?
Yes, but last night you said it was Hirakawa.
Yeah, but I meant Yamashita. That's why I held up his card, obviously. There's video evidence and everything.
And of course, some of the drivers actually pitted on lap 11 because they changed to mediums for one lap and then came in for softs a lap later. Under the safety car.
And it's given this. I love the way it's now all building up to this closing laps of the race. We've got 12 to go. You're watching Super Formula, the penultimate race of Super Formula here on Let's Go Racing. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and help support the channel by joining. You can look in the race description on YouTube to see the benefits of joining, including a picture of Leo Gorman, if you must. We'll delete it if you join.
Oh, that is actually quite scary. Not many people want to see me. They do love to hear me.
Nick Cassidy has hit the overtaking system again, but doesn't seem to be getting. And I was about to say, doesn't seem to be getting the most out of it. Ooh, has a look, but doesn't get it done.
Goes a bit deep. But really, I think he's now getting. I wonder if he's getting to the stage where he's been told to get a move on.
Yeah, he's
Hirakawa actually had a sluggish lap last time around. He's in the 1:17.8.
A little bit of a front lock up from Hirakawa as well in that previous corner, taking quite a wide line on the entry to that.
So I think Hirakawa, I wonder if he's beginning to struggle now. He's actually in the 1:8, dropping towards the 1:18s.
He's not super tight on the apexes. I'm not sure if that's because he's saving tyre or if he's.
I wonder if he's beginning to lose traction.
Yeah, I was about to say he seems.
This is it. I think
he's got a toe. He hasn't got overtaking boost though. So Cassidy again uses it. I think a little bit too early. There's a lot of debate on the chat at the moment about whether Cassidy is good enough for Formula One. Well. Yes, he is, and someone should put him in a car and find out actually how good he is. Because he needs to be in a F1 car, frankly.
Of course, this is bringing our very much into contention as well, because that gap from 2.5 seconds now, Lucas is right there in third place in the Red Bull liveried car.
Absolutely. Speaking of Red Bull livery cars, Patricio Ward is not out of the hunt, 10th position at the moment, but wait till his pit stop cycles around. He's in for a great result.
And it's Cassidy going for it!
Easy.
And he takes the lead and then cuts the corner off, so Hirakawa cannot fight back. Nick Cassidy takes the lead. Now, the next few laps are going to be absolutely crucial, Sam, because we're coming into the final 10 laps of this race. Nick Cassidy needs to make hay while he absolutely can. I think we're going to see Lucas Aru come through very, very soon as well.
Yeah, it looks like Hirakawa's just run out of tyres there. Now, Cassidy's going to set off. It's going to be fascinating to watch his lap times. Now, he's got the clean air, got the track to himself. There's Kamui Kobayashi chasing...
That is Kobayashi chasing Oshima.
Yeah.
So Kobayashi's taken 5 seconds out of Oshima in the last few laps. And he's going by right now, and he's going to go chasing after Yamamoto as well. Yamamoto's actually just ahead of them. He's only right there.
That's crucial, actually. So
and this could be crucial for Cassidy now in the lead of this race.
So, yeah, actually, Kobayashi's over a second a lap quicker than, well, most of the cars around him. Cassidy is the only car out there with decent lap times.
Cassidy's just set the fastest first sector of the race so far.
Yes, he has. Well.
10 laps to go. This is very much hotting up now.
Well, the final 10 laps here on Let's Go Racing. It's Super Formula. penultimate round, and we have a battle on. It's Naoki Yamamoto being harassed, bullied, and chased by Kamui Kobayashi in the number 18 KCMG car. The white number 1 Docomo Dandelion racing car is the reigning champion, but he is about to get mugged by the Toyota Works driver. But that's not the only battle. Up front, Nick Cassidy, the race leader, is fighting these 2 cars for track position because Cassidy is obliged to come to the pits and change tyres to the slower tyre. How is that going to pan out? We could see Kobayashi could win this, you know.
Yamamoto's struggling through the corners. You can see he's actually beginning to get a bit of difficulty on the exit of the corners.
Great lap time from Nick Cassidy. 1/10 of a second best off his best lap, a 1:16.6.
Kobayashi through, and Yamamoto locks up.
Oh, he nearly went off there.
And that was a lock-up that Yamamoto did not need. Actually, this race is coming down to time because we've got less than 10 minutes left in this race now, so we may not get to lap 68 at all.
That safety car was so slow.
Well, the safety car was incredibly slow. We actually probably lost about a lap, if not 2 laps under the safety car.
Here comes Lukasawa now. He's right on the tail of Hirakawa for second. I nearly said Hiranaka, wrong championship.
Cassidy's pulled 3 seconds on Hirakawa already, and he has.
And Nojiri's coming. Awa needs to get this done because Nojiri is right on the tail of Awa now. We knew it was going to build up to the end, and it really has. There's still pit stops to come as well.
Cassidy's pulled 42 seconds on Yamamoto now.
He is absolutely nailing that Gantolin Team Tom Stellara SF19 around the track and opening up that gap. He's trying desperately to get it into the pits and get back out on track and not lose positions.
Cassidy in the 1:16, Sam. 1:16 again for this lap around.
Hirakawa's coming in. I can see the crew ready.
Yamamoto is 2 seconds a lap slower than Cassidy at the moment, as we see Kobayashi.
There he is. There's Hirakawa coming in.
Hirakawa pits. He was beginning to lose a huge amount of time. He lost 5 seconds on Cassidy in those couple of laps alone.
But this is going to be crucial because we'll get to see after a couple of laps what the medium tyres can do when they're being absolutely flogged to within an inch of their tyre life. There are the mediums.
8 minutes left, Sam. 8 minutes left.
Yes, exactly. Oh, it's not a neat pit stop, that. You see the car shifted on the track.
It's very untidy, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh.
Very, very untidy. This has not worked at all.
And the driver blatting the throttle, which is never a good thing whenever he's off the track. And that's another one. It looks like the Inging team's ready for a stop as well.
That's Shosuboi. That'll be Shosuboi.
Yeah, you're right. That'll be Shosuboi. Yeah.
That's Yamamoto there.
Yeah, Yamamoto round the outside of. Well, that sells it. He's a long, and that's with
That's how much time Yamamoto's lost. As we see, Oshima is just going to drive by. That's how much time Yamamoto has lost. That Hirakawa can have a sluggish pit stop like that and still come out near enough alongside. Now, Hirakawa's the problem. He's on cold tyres. He's on cold
that's it. Here's Cassidy.
Cassidy pits. This is crucial.
Well, let's see. Now we've got the stopwatch up finally.
He currently leads at the moment. He still has to stop.
Shosuboi coming in as well as we thought. We saw the crew ready. Tyres do looking good, Nick. And off the track, that's
Hirakawa. That's Hirakawa.
On the cold tyres. Oh, slight no! It's a bad stop. It was a bad stop. There was a problem on the right rear.
Cassidy's lost a couple of seconds there.
Yeah, but where's he going to come out? Who's this? There goes his teammate.
That Kobayashi?
That's Kobayashi. Yeah, Kobayashi's gone through.
Slight lock-up. Cassidy's going to lose a few seconds. He's going to lose a few more seconds here, trying to get these tyres up to temperature.
It's like when you go down the rental carts on a chilly Saturday night or something, and the carts have been sitting out all day, and you just can't drive them.
But crucial, I think he's still got a gap to. Has he still got a gap to Yamamoto?
I'm trying to work that one out at the moment. As they cross the stripe, I think he does. Yes, I think Cassidy is in fifth.
He's ahead. He's actually ahead of Kobayashi.
Yes, he's done it. Kobayashi's not going to stay behind him for very long, I don't.
No, I think Kobayashi's going to take him.
And this is important for championship points. Remember, Kobayashi isn't out of the hunt.
Now, as it stands, Kenta Yamashita's third place is technically going to be the overall leader. Lukasawa is still leading the race. He's the only driver not to stop.
That's not Jerry as expected. His crew have been sitting there for quite a long time, actually. Well, Cassidy just driving his race now, and Kamui Kobayashi being Kamui Kobayashi. And Cassidy really,
defending.
oh, well, that was a little bit of a message, wasn't it? It was like, yeah, no, not letting you do that, Kamui.
Defending hard there. But Kobayashi is on the soft tyres. Cassidy on the mediums. He's got 5.5 minutes left.
Nilgiri comes out behind this pair. Nick Cassidy, perhaps one of the most underrated racing drivers active in the world at the moment, taking on Kamui Kobayashi, perhaps one of the most aggressive racing drivers in the world at the moment.
As it stands in the moment, Cassidy's actually in 5th place.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, 6th place, just ahead of Kobayashi. Yamamoto is 7th. Cassidy came out with a 6-second advantage over Yamamoto, so he's turned that around from what looked a disastrous,
skid, wasn't it?
What looked like a disastrous strategy after the safety car is actually turned right around for Kobayashi as well.
Oh, Cassidy trying to defend around Kobayashi, going around the outside. Now that you don't see very often, someone holding it out to Kobayashi, wheel to wheel into the left-hander around the outside.
Oh, they've hit! They've hit! Cassidy spins! Cassidy spins!
Oh, absolute disaster for Cassidy.
Yamamoto
There's Yamamoto.
going by now.
Oh, that's Cassidy's
Oshima.
championship.
Disaster for Nick Cassidy as he dived down the inside and clipped the dust on the dirt on the inside of the tyre, and it pitched him into the side of Kamui Kobayashi, spun him around.
He is going to be furious with himself.
Cassidy has dropped down to 11th place at least.
Now who's that behind him? I can't quite make out which cars they are from the rear wing. Cassidy's going slow as well.
He's just getting up to speed.
Now let's have a look. What happened here? So Kobayashi went deep. Cassidy held him off fair and
I think
square.
we're going to see Cassidy's left front get on the dirt. There, and that pitches him into the side of Kobayashi and spins Cassidy around.
That's just, I'm afraid to say, that looks like it was all Cassidy's fault.
And maybe a situation where he just needed be a little bit more circumspect.
He's 11th.
Yeah, so he's got...
Yamamoto's only 8th though. Cassidy's not done yet. 3 minutes to go. This is Super Formula on Let's Go Racing, and we told you it was going to be lively at the end. Who's going to win? Lucas Auer is leading this race. Kent Yamashita in second. Nakajima in third.
Auer still needs to pit.
Yes.
So
he has a 25-second gap. Where's he going to fill that out behind? Well, race.
This will be interesting. Now, our pits, that will promote Yamamoto to 7th place, which is 2 points. As it stands, Cassidy in 11th will probably be promoted to may get to 10th place, so he'll be non-scoring, which at this stage would give Yamamoto a championship lead of a single point going into the finale in Suzuka in a few weeks' time.
How does that play out for Kobayashi, who wasn't far off, and indeed Alex Palou, who were the other two drivers in contention?
Alex...
I mean, they're all going to be in a big lump at the end of this, aren't they?
Would be 4th, and Kobayashi would be 5th, so the answer is, I don't know.
With just a few... We'll see that at the end of the race. So anyway, the end of the race is in 2 minutes and 25 seconds, and Lucas Auer is going to have to pit now, otherwise he's going to get a penalty. Not allowed to pit on the last lap, remember?
Yes. And he's pitting now.
There you go. He was listening, clearly.
But he still did some very, very good laps. This could still work out very well. I think Auer could still get out ahead of Yamamoto.
We'll find out in a second.
The gap is 42 seconds from Auer to Yamamoto. So we shall see very, very shortly as the... unfortunately, we can't really see the team at work because the KCMG awning is in the way. Okay. There's Kenta Yamashita, race leader. A guy who we both thought would win this race. As Auer is exiting the pit lane now, he's going to be maybe 6th, is he?
Yeah, 6th, but he's on cold tyres. And Pato Ward will be the next car, so it's going to be Red Bull on Red Bull. There's Kenta Yamashita. He is leading the race now and has a 2.3 second lead over the Vantolin team Tom's car, not of Nick Cassidy, but of Kazuki Nakajima.
Harrison Nui, 3rd place. Huh?
Yeah.
Harrison Nui is a potential podium sitter here.
That'll be his first podium out here.
His first points.
Yes. And a podium. He's going to get a trophy of some description. But look at the right front tyre there on the race leader. It's showing that telltale stripe.
And he's just about held on to the end of this race.
Well, 59 seconds plus 1 lap, I guess.
So Auer actually...
My timing screen still says 4 laps to go, but the timing screen you see on your TV disagrees with that. we'll see if the TV director or the timing screen is right.
Our may be fourth, because I think a couple of those cars that were coming down the pit straight that time were actually lapped cars.
And it's going to go to time. I've had it confirmed.
Of course, because of a couple of punctures and whatnot in this race so far. So we're looking at Kenta Yamashita from second on the grid. Bit of an eventful race for everyone, but it's been very much a kind of watch and wait.
Just looking at that, also on for his first points in Super Formula is Patricio Award, and if he does that, as has just been pointed out on the chat, and well, he just got to get to the flag now, isn't he? That will be, he's ahead of Dan Ticktum in terms of points in Super Formula this year.
Yeah, Ticktum got an 8th place at the season opener in Suzuka and didn't score
again
after that.
Ever.
So a 6th place for Pato Award would give him 3 points, which is a very, very good effort considering. And probably he may rue that slightly because he qualified 11th, bogged down at the start and dropped down to 19th by turn 1. So he may rue that slightly.
He could have, had it been for a better start, he could have been quite significantly way up. I mean, could he have been on the podium or better? We will look at the champion. Ralph 608 is asking about championship points connotations. We'll have a look at the end of the race, but winning penultimate round of the 2019 Super Formula Championship. It's Kenta Yamashita for Kondo Racing. Second position for TCS Nakajima. It's it's Kazuki Nakajima in the Valentine Team Tonka. Harrison Newey gets his first podium in the BMAX Racing with Motor Park. Dallara, Alex Palou comes home 4th. Lucas Auer 5th. Patricio Award 6th.
Very good effort. Yamamoto now the new championship leader.
He went missing then on the final lap.
No one. They fell. No, here he pitted.
Award was in 7th.
I haven't seen anyone disappear. Kobayashi? Where's Kobayashi?
Yes. Kobayashi has vanished. Has he been removed from the results for some reason?
He's not showing up anywhere on screen as you see the race winner Kenta Yamashita celebrating a fantastic drive. I'm not sure what's happened. A little bit of
yeah, that's just from the exhaust gas.
I'm not sure actually where Kobayashi disappeared to. He's only credited as having done 65 to 66 laps.
Yes, we lost Kobayashi.
And interestingly enough, Yamamoto did his personal best of the race on the final lap.
Just making a point.
Well, he was kind of second a lap slower than that for much of the running. Now, Yamamoto taking 7th place, that gives him 2 points. Cassidy not scoring in 10th place, and he will be kicking himself. I wonder, did he actually get damage from when he was hit by Cassidy? Oh, there he is. He spun.
And he's wandered off.
He spun off then.
Well, it looks like the right rear isn't in good condition, actually.
So I wonder if he got a... That's interesting. So I wonder if maybe did he take damage from when he was clipped by Cassidy?
Look at the right rear tyre there, Lee. You can see it's got a big old stripe of something on it.
I think that big old stripe of something is probably a bit of Team's Tops.
Yeah, I wonder. So,
it would be nice to see him actually what happened when he did go off. Unless he had another incident that we didn't see, obviously. But
that's worse news for Nick Cassidy again, isn't it? Well, there's your winner, Kenta Yamashita, Kazuki Nakajima second, and Harrison Newey. He's going to be lost. In fact, he hasn't found Park Ferme yet. He doesn't know what to do. He's never finished on the podium.
Adrian Newey would be delighted as well.
Wonder if he's there. Might have gone out to Japan early ahead of the Formula One Grand Prix.
Nakajima in 2nd place. Team Toms.
Stay tuned for the podium. We've got just
Nakajima's best finish of the year so far. Previously, his best finish to this season was 5th at Fuji.
Kenta Yamashita very happy with the Kondo Racing driver. It's been the Super Formula penultimate round here from Okayama. Stay with us. We're going to stay on air for the ever fascinating podium ceremonies. And we might get to hear from Harrison Newey. I'm not quite sure. I think we do. And I've seen just a reshuffle on the timing screen. Lucas Auer finished 5th, just ahead of Patricio Award. He's happy, says Masahiko Kondo. Massive star in Japan. It's Kondo-san. If you want to know why, just Google his name. And it won't bring up racing cars.
It said at the start of this race that Kondo Racing qualified second and third. They were on for a big result today, and well, they've got it. Race win for Kenta Yamashita. But Yamashita's pace, making those soft tyres last from lap 10 right to the end, and actually doing a pretty good job on the first few laps on the medium tyres. He lost fewer places.
There's the bear for Sarah.
Yamashita lost fewer places and lost less time than others who were on the medium tyres in those initial first laps, because those in the medium tyres were really dropping backwards.
There's Harrison Nui getting instructions about how a Super Formula podium works. Probably just thinking to himself, they have what on the podium?
But bear in mind, Harrison Nui has been out here for a while, because he is previously he was the Asian Le Mans Series champion in 2017-2018. So he has experience of podiums, but just not necessarily Super Formula.
Oh, cheers, fam. There's overalls.
ウィナーの山下健太選手とですね、
Start the race.
近藤監督のところに来ています。山下選手優勝おめでとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
Thank you, he says.
待望の初優勝です。
いやー、結構長かったです。
I'm happy.
でも本当に今のスーパーフォーミュラーは速いだけでもダメだし、運があるだけでもダメだし、もう本当に全部噛み合わないと勝てないのはもうよく分かってたので、でも本当に今日は本当にそれが全て噛み合って勝ったんで、本当感謝ですね、はい、チームに。はい。
Yes.
昨日の予選ではちょっとはみ出しちゃって。悔しい顔表してたけど、今日ははみ出さなかったですか？
Probing question there.
そうですね。昨日のことがあったんで、ちゃんとコンクリートの上を走ろうと思って。
Yes, it was funny. He laughed.
おめでとうございます。そんな難しいスーパーフォーミュラの中で本当に完璧な戦略、そしてチャンピオンチームらしい、完璧な仕事をしてくれたチーム、近藤監督本当におめでとうございます。
ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。
ケ
ンタはね、速さがあるんで、もう早く優勝させてあげたかったんだけど、なかなかできなかったんで。今日本当に嬉しいです。
これでチャンピオンシップにも名乗りを上げて最終戦に臨めると思うんですけど、この勢いでチャンピオン狙えますか？
そうですね。本当に今回チームに車すごい良くしてもらって今までよりも全然いいので、このままいけば鈴鹿もいけると思うし、チャンピオンシップ全然考えてなかったですけど、今まで関係なかったんで、まあでも狙えるんであれば本当に狙いたいと思います。
監督最後にファンの皆さんにメッセージをお願いします。
応援ありがとうございます。ディフェンディングチャンピオンチームとして恥ずかしくないレースができたと思います。本当にありがとうございました。
He wants to be the defending champion team and he's going to release a new album soon, probably. Chio says, well done. Yes, yes. 2 flags. There you go. Oh, racetrack. Results, please. There you go.
So Kenta Yamashita, race winner after 66 laps of today's race. Kazuki Nakajima came back to come second place ahead of Harrison Nui, finishing the podium. Fourth, Alex Pelu, a good result for the Spanish rookie. Lucas Auer came home, was classified 15th in the end. Pato Award, 6th place, his first point of the year. Naoki Yamamoto was able to take a seventh place finish, 2 points after starting 16th. 8th is Kazuya Oshima, good result after starting last. Timoki Nohiri, 9th place, no points for him. Nick Cassidy, 10th place, spun late in the race after clashing with Kamui Kobayashi. He's 10th. 11th is Sho Suboi. He pitted late on ahead of 12th Ryo Hirakawa. Yuhi Sekiguchi in 13th place ahead of Kodai Sukakoshi. Yuichi Nakayama in his first race in Super Formula in 5 years comes home 15th ahead of Yuji Kunimoto and Tadasuke Makino. Kamui Kobayashi went off on the final lap.
He didn't finish. He wasn't 18th. He's only 18th because it's like that.
And of course, Ishira and Fukuzumi, neither of whom finished. Ishira came into the pits after a puncture most of the way through the race, and Fukuzumi had a spin from what looked like a mechanical issue early in the race, 8 laps in. And that brought out the first safety car, which really turned this race on its head. So please, if you enjoy this racing, and I hope you do, like and subscribe and support Let's Go Racing for more racing in the future.
But we need 500 likes for that, and we haven't got it, so you've got to give us more likes.
Like.
Yes. Right, podium. Well, they've got to find it first. He's off. He's off for an adventure. Kenta Yamashita. So this is a new Let's Go Racing concept. racetrack strolling with Kenta Yamashita.
Forza or 18 asks, do we have any special trophies today?
Yes. What are they? Haven't got a clue. Golf clubs, maybe. Speedboat. He's lost. He's stopped. He's just stopped with his finger in the air. There's the big bear for Sarah.
Nice. See what you mean.
Yeah. That bear's actually the reserve driver for the Toyota Gazoo racing team at Le Mans.
Sheeran Motorsports. Is Yamashita a Toyota Gazoo racing driver?
Yes.
Is he?
Yes. Oh, enthusiastic girls. Oh, just lady from Klowde's just turned up with her shopping basket. This is behind the scenes. So there will be a podium ceremony eventually after sort of everybody in Okayama has shaken Kenta Yamashita's hand. Oh, Shouty Man's there then.
We'll hear him under the podium shortly.
In theory, yeah. Nice blue cones there. They're the Twizzly ones.
Kind of makeshift permit.
They have them at Harry Potter World, actually, but in orange. Not that I've been to Harry Potter World, I've just seen the photos. Anyway, let's have a replay of the race.
Great start by Hirakawa.
Not so great start for Pass Award. Terrible start. I didn't see it, actually, during the race. So Kokoshi just didn't get off the line at all.
And Yamashita was sluggish away from the line on the medium tyres. But we initially saw a battle.
That's the battle we didn't really catch. It was the...
That was Cassidy taking Nakajima for what was 5th and 6th place. Kobayashi stopped on lap 1, get the medium tyres off, goes straight on the softs.
A strategy that nearly worked, but didn't.
As Cassidy really made his way through the field, taking a struggling Kenta Yamashita earlier on. Kobayashi put in some very, very fast laps in clean air, was setting 1:16s, and clawed himself back into contention. But it was Nerei Fukuzumi, who seemed to have a very, very strange off going into the gravel trap. That brought out the safety car. He was clearly distraught.
His boss didn't look too impressed, but I think there was a problem with the car. There was definitely a problem with the tyre here.
That's Ashura. His right front went after quite a lot of laps with high degradation, resulting in a big puncture there. And this was crucial for a time, it seemed. Cassidy taking Ryo Hirakawa for the lead late on before the final pit stops kicked in. And this was him battling with Kamui Kobayashi. As Cassidy went down the inside, he tried to hold off Kobayashi, but then... Bosh!
Did they touch first? Did Kobayashi bump him? I'm just watching that again. I'm just wondering. I'm just going to watch my quick instant replay here.
And then Kenta Yamashita came across the line to win the race here at Okayama. His first race win of the year, and Kondo Racing's first race win of the year. And of course, the other notable incident.
No, he didn't, did he?
No,
we were just watching our instant replays here in the studio, and then just to see if Kobayashi had turned in on Cassidy slightly, but no, he hadn't. Cassidy just hit the grass because he was squeezed, and that was that, really.
The other notable moment in this race, of course, was the Makino, who had the issue with the tyre.
Yeah, it looks like we hear that he hit another.
He hit another tyre exiting the pit lane, and that caused the
tyre to fail.
Yeah, tyre to fail.
So it was tyre on tyre on tyre. There's a halo. It's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a podium. So are they, apparently. Some fans looking at racing cars. It's a Japanese thing. At the end of the race, they line all the cars up on the starting grid, and you can go and have a butcher's. There they are.
They'll stay on the grid until the end of the ceremonies. In which case, there's other support races that take place still after this.
Or maybe not. There's a different schedule this weekend.
What is it?
Yes, because we're later in the day.
Yes, we are.
So, and they've let the fans out, so I think this is the last race of the day at Okayama. There's the mountains around Okayama. Amazing to think, when you look at that pit complex, it's amazing to compare that to modern Formula One ones.
Like Formula One was here.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking. When you sort of see how Formula One's evolved.
Thanks to Wolf here. He says the commentary is excellent, fun, and insightful. Bravo.
Well, we still don't know where the podium is, other than it's coming up, so stay tuned. And there will be some podium things. We might hear from Harrison Nui and see what his champagne bottle opening skills are like, because we don't know.
And a comment from Yumakichi. That was a costly spin by Nick Cassidy. He's just one typhoon away from losing the championship.
I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, that is exactly what happened, of course, to Pierre Gasly.
In 17, yes,
Yeah.
of course. As far as we understand, the point situation is at the moment, Yamamoto's 29 points leading. Cassidy now second, 28 points. Pelu is third, 25. Yamashita, with that win, actually jumps Kobayashi. Yamashita is on 21 points. Kobayashi, had he finished, would still be very much in the running.
Yeah.
Kobayashi now 19 points, and that really kills his championship hopes. There's 14 points still available at Suzuka in a few weeks' time, 1 for pole and 13 for the race win.
Oh, they found it.
As the podium ceremony is about to get going, but that is a big win for Yamamoto there.
Well, there's Kenta Yamashita, one flag, happy man. Sensible height podium there. Not massive like last time.
Yes, the Montecinos, the podium was huge. Yeah. He needed a ladder to get onto it.
Looks like it's about to rain now. There's Kazuki Nakajima. Wouldn't fancy the ride on the train back to Gotemba now, on the Shinkansen with Nick Cassidy for 6-7 hours. That's not going to be a... It's going to be a frosty ride, but there he is, Harrison Newey.
Harrison Newey, actually, his first single-seater podium since the MRF Challenge in 2016-2017.
He's such a geek, but very good stat. His single flag strategy for Harrison Newey.
So congratulations to all three on the podium.
There's Mr. Kondo onto the top step. So we're going to get podium interviews or not? Nobody knows, because it's Super Formula. We just work it out as it happens.
山下健太選手おめでとうございます。大きな拍手をお送りください。皆様ありがとうございました。どうぞご着席ください。
Seems quite happy with that victory, doesn't he? Nice red shoes there by Kondo, very much on online. Alex Winkler, watching from the circuit to Catalunya and gathered a small audience around his phone with this race. Hello, Catalunya. Enjoy the food of granolas. Quite like it there. Here's the trophy. It's a very small... Oh, these are the tiny trophies, look.
Quaint.
Yes. I mean, nice, but sort of posh clubman go-karting, really. Do you remember the one they used to get at Autopolis, the enormous one that was bigger than the drivers?
Yes.
Shouty girls enthusiastic for Nakajima there.
If nothing else, it'll fit in your hand luggage.
Well, I mean, Harrison Newey's not going to have to worry about this one fitting in his hand luggage, is it? It's barely bigger than his hand.
I don't think it's going to show up too well on the photographs either.
No, it's a very, very small trophy. Oh,
it's also quite transparent.
That's the team's trophy. Yeah, that's the team's trophy for Mr. Kondo. Let's see if they get any more trophies. You want to drop it as well. It's sort of hollow. It's shattered quite well. There's probably some fine southern Japanese crystal glassware. Still quite small though, isn't it? Oh, they get a they get a regular shape. There you go. And the next round of Super Formula, we're going to do the circle.
What?
Maybe a star. You know that the game where you have to put the blocks through. Yeah? You know when you struggle with it, yeah? Blocks with the holes for different shapes. Well, there you go. A six-sided shape. ant trophies. They are very, very small trophies. I mean, if you look at Harrison Nui, who, I mean, he's taller than some of the other drivers around him, but nice smile there. He's going to treasure that trophy as well. But at some point, he's going to be sitting at home or in the hotel tonight or on the Shinkansen home. And he'll be looking at the trophy and he's been waiting for ages to get on the podium, and I've got this tiny, tiny little trophy.
I think the Issac is coming soon.
Oh no, Harrison Nui's forgotten about that. He's off.
I think one
of the other talking points in this race, and I wonder if something that will come up in discussion for the next meeting at Suzuka. I mean, the drivers' meeting at Suzuka is how slow the safety car was.
It was incredibly slow
when it came out.
It was incredibly slow, and I'm amazed drivers won't be able to won't race that because it totally changed the strategy of the race actually. And it wasn't even trying to go fast. That's the real surprise.
Yes, as you mentioned, he was situated in the middle of the track in a lot of the corners, so not really pushing it as you would see Burt Mylander, for example, in F1.
まずは今日のこのレース、振り返っていただいて、作戦通りだとは思いますけども、初優勝の今の感触を聞かせてください。
もう僕参戦し始めて3年目なんですけど、
I think not enough credit really for Kenta Yamashita in that race. I think he made his tyres last very well over a 56-lap stint.
He really did.
It did look like they were beginning to kind of wear a bit towards the end. They had a bit of a line of wear degradation on the right front as well. But he still made that last really well and was putting a solid pace on it as well.
シーズン前のテストすごい早かったんですけど、もうシーズン入ってからF1全然取れなくて、それをどうにかしようと本当にチームのみんな頑張ってくれて、本当に今回それがすごくうまくはまって、
But it's interesting because that is actually the question the guy on the podium was asking. He said, "What should you like to do?" Kenta Yamashita said,
いや、そうですね。そして最後まで山県山県の方も応援してくれましたし、下からはね、本当に黄色い声援も飛んでましたんで、たくさん応援をしてくれました。皆さんに一言お願いします。
はい、たくさんの応援ありがとうございました。これでなんかチャンピオン争いも少し加われるみたいなので、次の鈴鹿も頑張ります。応援よろしくお願いします。
おめでとうございます。今一度大きな拍手を送りください。
8 points behind. With 14 available, suddenly it's not a bad shout. It'll be on the outskirts of it.
ありがとうございます。本当にありがとうございます。
But of course, I think the real battle is now Yamamoto, Cassidy, and of course, let's not forget Alex Palou, who's only 4 points off the top spot.
I think he's the dark horse in the pack.
そうですね、頼もしくなったんだろうけども、もうちょっと笑ってもいいんじゃないかなと思った。
An old school sends a message saying, "Quoting my 5-year-old daughter, Nui's trophy is like a Barbie doll trophy."
I think that's going to stick, isn't it? The Barbie doll
一戦でも
trophy.
早く勝たせたかったんで、なんかそれが果たせてよかったなと思うのと、やっぱりチームメートの国本もね、今回早かったんで。国本も本当に苦労したんで、彼にも勝たせてあげたかったんですけど、今回は山下の方の戦略が当たったということで、チームメートの国本にも感謝です。
じゃあ最後に最終戦がまだあと一つ残ってますので、ぜひファンの皆さんも応援でしてくれましたし、最後に一言お願いします。
最後まで諦めずに頑張りますので応援してください。ありがとうございました。
おめでとうございます。近藤正彦監督でした。さあ、それでは大変長らくお待たせをいたしました。それでは3選手には全日本スーパーフォーミュラー選手権シリーズパートナーであります人気酒造株式会社様よりスパークリング日本酒純米大吟醸スーパーフォーミュラーが贈られます。では3選手のスパークリングファイトをこれからしていただきたいと思います。
Well, still waiting for the.
I know, right?
さあでは表彰台も整えられたところで
He's summoning it, but bring me the bottle. Where's my sparkling sake? There it is.
He was actually preparing. He was getting training in before he had to.
Exactly. Now let's
see what Nui's like with the.
Oh, so no, this is cheating. These bottles have been pre-opened. They must have expected Castellion to be on the podium. Unfortunately not. Well, great technique there from Nui. Like a pro. Doesn't spray too much of it either. No, is he going to have any to drink? Yes.
No, no,
He had a little sip of it. Don't like that. Oh, now he's having a proper drink. There you go. That's more like it. Oh, big swig. He's been studying Kimi Räikkönen. Half the bottle's gone.
So there on screen there, the 2019 points standings with only a single round left. Yamamoto on 29, leading by 1. Ahead of Nick Cassidy. Alex Paley on 25. Kenta Yamashita with that win now 4th in the championship, 21 points. A long shot for the championship, as is Kamui Kobayashi, 5th place with 19 points after that last lap retirement. And I think Kobayashi was running 5th, Sam. So that is 4 points he's lost.
Suzuka is going to be a thriller, quite frankly.
And that would have put Kobayashi on 23. But I think he's probably just too far, with 10-point gap and only 14 available. I think he's just probably too far out for the whole of the top 4 to screw up somehow. But we have I think a stellar 3-way battle coming into the final round. Well, as the crowds disperse and we see the teams' standings, it's joint on top for Dandelion Racing and Team Tom's, both on 40. Nakajima Racing on 28 points. That'll be a very, very tight battle at Suzuka, which was won earlier this year by Cassidy with Team Tom's.
Well, speaking of Cassidy, he's just come on to Twitter. Such crazy speed this weekend. Just stuck behind one teammate in quali and stuck behind my other teammate in the race. Congrats to the team on a great result. Well, yes.
Of course, Hirakawa is.
I mean, he's got
Cassidy's
a point.
Super GT teammate, isn't he? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a good point when he's in a championship battle. Well, there you go. This is the showdown. October 27th, here in full on Let's Go Racing. Live from Suzuka. Nick Cassidy might have cheered up a little bit by then, but I'm not sure a lot. He's not a happy bunny. If they have bunnies in New Zealand. They have sheep. Oh, fingers. Girls with fingers and a teddy bear. Not quite sure what that's about. Okay. They're saying no to teddy bears. No teddy bears. That's the warning. Public health announcement. Life-size teddy bears are bad for you. Probably. And there's a view of the cars. We're going to have a highlights reel in a minute, and then we'll round out the show.
So the final round in just a 4 weeks' time, Sam, October 26th and 27th. This is going to be a stellar race. And as I said, Cassidy won the first time out in Suzuka earlier on this year. I think we're going to have a hell of a feisty round.
Yeah.
And that was a race, actually, Yamamoto came home second. So.
Well, I mean, the fact that you say feisty, I mean, the fact that Cassidy's gone back into the garage and tweeted that. I think he's not in the garage. I think he's gone out, walked in the garage and straight out the back and, I don't know, got the taxi to Okayama train station.
Not even had a shower.
Yeah. Not covered in sake, is he?
Well,
I can understand his unhappiness, actually.
It has been a very frustrating weekend for Cassidy. As he was blocked by Nakajima in qualifying, and he was. And you know what the thing is, was he spent a long time behind Hirakawa. It did take a while for him to actually edge up close enough to get by, and it took Hirakawa's tyres going off really probably for that to kind of happen. And Hirakawa, of course, had his own issues when he went off on his outlap on the medium tyres. But, you know, it's whether he needed to be so forceful.
Highlights reel. There you go. Man had tyres. Man had a crash helmet. Where's the hero music? They all wondered. There's the musical hero. Man put gloves on. Some lights came on and the oil breather worked properly. A man spun. A man sulked. Another man looked pensive. A man spun. Another man spun. He was happy. That was the win. That was the finger. And that was the end. Thanks for joining us here on Let's Go Racing. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe.
Goodbye.
Bye.